Hello, everyone. Welcome to Master Powercast. We've taken a lot of pride, especially in recent weeks, on this channel of digging in deep, showing you why this property is so amazing, and taking other steps too, and evolving, doing tier lists, doing kumites to show you that there's more beyond just the cartoon and the toys. And tonight we are going to add another element to our show, and it's going to be our power ratings. And this is sort of the brainworm that came from our live chat on an episode. And then we also kind of harkened back to those old Marvel cards on the back. It would have power ratings on there to give you different things: strength, agility, speed, all that stuff. So we've taken that idea and we're going to apply it to Masters of the Universe. So I'm really excited about this ever since I started piecing everything together. And I was showing that off to Tyler, and Tyler's gotten pretty pumped up about it too. We showed it to James last week when we were off air, and he was like, fellas, that's a pretty good idea. That wasn't word for word what he said, but I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, it's even it's inspired me to go just for fun. Looking at old Marvel Universe trading cards and just looking at the backs of them, and reminiscing about how important it was to see stuff like that when you didn't have access to a lot of comic books. So to see stats like that, what was a big deal. And if we had Master Universe trading cards, I'd like to think that it wouldn't be a dumbass put in charge, but someone who could put together awesome trading cards with beautiful artwork on the front, and then a brief bio, not written by a dipshit, and power rankings on the back too, and to emphasize all their various skills.
And to give you guys an idea exactly what we're talking about when we're talking about the Marvel cards, here's the back of Wolverine's card. So you look at the power ratings here. They go 0 to 7. We are going to go 1 to 10 on ours, but you see strength, speed, agility, stamina, durability, intelligence. And what we've done is we're going to have 4 categories, and one of which is kind of a combination of quite a few things. Actually. And I guess without further ado, let me go ahead and get our names off of here. We will swap this over. So each time we're going to go through this, it's going to be 9 characters chosen at random. So it's not going to be just all heroic warriors, all evil warriors, all horde members. It's just going to be a randomness. Tyler picked these 9 out. And essentially what we're going to do is we're each going to give, as we go through our own little rankings, we're going to tally those up. And the next time that we do this, I'll have a list showing off how Tyler and I rank them in total. So each character here can obtain 40 points in total. So everyone at home, keep that in mind. I guess there are things we could change as we progress through this. And I mean, this is kind of like much like our kumites and our tier lists of the past. It's probably going to have some growing pains along the way. But Tyler, starting from the top, going all the way down to the bottom, tell us who all you have picked.
Well, I really wanted to mix it up and not just kind of go with like your standard, because anyone who watches this podcast, I do not like going by the cliches of this line. So I really wanted to mix it up and pick people that maybe some very familiar faces, and then some that what need immediate attention, just because what that's what I want to see in Master of the Universe. So starting out with, we have Modulok of the Evil Horde, Extendar of the Heroic Warriors, Man at Arms of the Heroic Warriors, Cobra Khan of the Evil Warriors, Spikor of the Evil Warriors, Mosquitor of the Evil Horde, Trapjaw of the Evil Warriors, Tongue Lasher representing the Snake Men, and rounding it out is Roboto representing the Heroic Warriors.
So that is the 9 that we're going to be rating tonight. And if you look at our little grid here, so up top, here are the official categories with Fisto's Fist representing strength. We're going to have this is the book that came with Eldor Classics figure.
Book of Living Spells, I guess. Is what you.
Yeah. And this will represent intelligence. Our little small photo of He-Man in a running pose. This is going to be sort of the combo. We're calling it athleticism, but it's going to be a combination of like speed, stamina, agility, endurance, all that stuff. It's just going to be one. How athletic are they? And finally, rounding it out, you see Scareglow right there. This is going to be the specialty category. So we're looking at the gimmick that they got. How good is that from 1 to 10 and forms of battle? Because that's what we're kind of looking at this at mostly. because three of the four I would say use more in battle. Intelligence, yes, but I think intelligence, if you got the strength, sometimes you don't need to be smart, right?
True, but
So
sometimes if you're nothing but just a giant behemoth, you can be made into a jackass pretty quick with the right opponent.
yeah, and much like how we've been doing the tier list instead of Tyler and I button heads arguing about this is what number it should be. We're just each going to have our own list because I like people to see the visual representation of just how different we may be thinking on particular characters or how much alike we are without all the back and forth, you know.
Yeah, like we just give our reasons why we feel this way, and I would encourage our listeners too to, if you're as you're watching this, submit your own rankings. Leave,
Absolutely.
let us know, are we wrong, or just what? Doesn't matter if we're wrong or right in your eyes. Submit what you would think is the proper ranking, and put them in there. We'll respond to all that stuff. We're not gonna sit there and say, "I you nah, you're stupid. You don't know any better. What kind of fan are you? You must buy fucking." Origins. That's a joke, people.
So as we sta-
I'm not being malicious.
so as we've stated before, unlike the Marvel cards, we are going up to 10 instead of 7, which
Yeah.
it was weird that they only went to 7, if I'm being
They
honest.
and it was like that for I think series 2, series 3 and 4, which had power rankings on the back too. They went to 7 as well, if I remember correctly.
Why 7?
I I don't know. I have no idea. But that's, and then after that, I think they stopped doing the power rankings on the back of the cards though. I think after that, but that for me, because 3 straight years feel like that's what you expect to see, and when they stop doing that, you're like, This is missing something here. This is a lot of You lose a lot of the mystique of especially newer characters that are new to Marvel Comics. Like, what are their rankings? And it's just brief description on the back. Like, I don't give a shit. But
Well, I guess what we got here from Master's Keep, I don't know if maybe this is what they were applying to that, but 7 is the number of completion according to the Bible.
could be,
Could be.
people weren't so quick to oh my God, you can't mention the Bible. You know, it was more more accepting back then, and just kind of commonplace. So that could be very possible, and
Would
nothing wrong with that, people.
would you like to start? Because I kind of don't want to bounce around. I think if we're going to do this, we either need to start at the top and go down, or start at the bottom and go up. So, what would you prefer to do?
Let's start at the bottom and go up.
All right. Well, we will go with Roboto first. So, starting with strength, Tyler. Roboto. How strong is Roboto out of 10?
Well, we don't have He-Man on this list, and He-Man obviously is a 10. So I feel like Roboto, just based on his depictions in the Battle of Roboto, and how he's depicted in NYP. I mean, he is a walking tank. So I'd probably put him at a 9. We're
Okay.
talking about a character that can stop the Bashosaurus with one hand and heave it back. Yeah, for a machine, yeah, I give him a strong 9.
For me, I was kind of bouncing between 8 or 9, and I guess that is another thing to keep in mind is we're not just comparing these guys to each other. We also have to keep in mind, much like Tyler said, strength wise, He Man's a 10. So we're kind of going off of that scale too of
Yeah,
looking at the strongest in our own minds in each of these categories. So if He Man is a 10, then Roboto, as you said, he's like a tank, and I think Roboto is going to end up being probably one of the strongest ones when we're done rating every character in the
absolutely.
mythology. I'm gonna have to be in agreement with you. I was leaning towards 8, but I am also gonna go for 9, and it's gonna do that thing that it did to me last week when you and there we go when
Oh,
you and when we were doing the tier list. We'll see how long that sticks around. So with Roboto, how intelligent is Roboto?
he's a machine. He's programmed. You know, which you could say could be prone to glitches and things like that. However, I feel like he is a very intelligent character, whether you believe he is a robot from another planet or a creation of Man at Arms who isn't highly intelligent himself. So I think just based on those credentials alone, he'd have to be a strong 10 for intelligence.
Interesting.
I just feel like
Yeah,
he's a character too that could size up opponents' situations, offer suggestions in terms of battle plans, protocols, anything that could be ready. I mean, fixing things, identifying problems quicker. I just feel like based on the concepts of robots in general, like he's not
the
a
computing speed of that could be way quicker than most
yes,
humans,
yeah,
especially
yeah,
on Eternia.
hmm
Man,
absolutely,
you make a strong case for 10, but you also have to keep in mind some of these other characters, especially I think one in particular is deserving of 10 in intelligence. So for me, I'm going to go with a 9.
okay,
I'm not going to go all the way 10 on Roboto because you did bring up a good point. Could be prone to glitches, which I mean, I guess humans to a degree are too, right? You
yeah,
can have brain farts and such, but I'm going to go 9. I think 10. I don't want to go right out of the gate of just like here's my first
yeah,
10 for someone. So I'm gonna go 9. In terms of athleticism, so we're much like I said, we got to take into account it's endurance, speed, uh, the general agility. With Roboto being a machine, there are some advantages here.
yeah.
I mean, obviously, you think in terms of battle endurance wise, would probably be a 10 because I would imagine he doesn't really get tired or powered down.
Yeah.
Well, I
Well,
get
I feel like all machines at some point they do break down.
they do
They
break
do
down.
need repair, much like humans as well. So
That's
it's not
true.
like you can go. It's if you look at his MYP appearance. I mean, he is beat to shit by the end of the battle with the shitty little bone clones that Triclops creates. But
Yeah,
he just goes for a what appears to be many hours of battle, um, and that's fighting little creatures with just stone sticks or maces or something like that. No, he's not fighting a heavily armored, horde battalion or anything like that. Um, but he could go a long ways. I don't know how fast he would be because I feel like I you don't tend to look. I mean, sometimes machines move slower. You think of like RoboCop,
right.
or the Terminator. They move relatively. RoboCop's slow. Terminator's a little bit faster. Um, then you look at various other robots and things like that. They're like the ones in Star Wars, like C-3PO and various others. Like they're slow moving. They don't speed zoom all over the place. But I think with Roboto, he would be a respectable speed. Like he could run to great speeds. Not faster than He-Man, but I feel like he could go pretty fast and probably move quickly because he is a machine. I can't imagine Manos programming him to be slow. Like we're going up against the evil orders, the horde, the snake men, all of a wide variety of people who with speeds, agilities, and strengths. You need something out there that could match that. So I feel like he would be relatively fast, but not like flash fast, not like you know. And he runs and leaves like a dust trail or something like that because he's moving so fast. But I'd
Right.
I'd say probably a 7, a
I,
7 in terms of like speed and agility.
yeah,
I just because he is a machine. I can't see him like I'm sure if he was chasing Webster up a mountainside, I'm sure he could climb a lot quicker than a human being. But
maybe
he's not.
maybe
He's
not
not.
though.
I guess it just depends. I mean, you and I could differ on this, and our listeners as well, is that how we view robots. I mean, because looking at him, he's not the behemoth of a robot. He's structured like a human in terms of his size, and he's going to be
Right.
heavier because he's made of metal and a wide variety of other mechanics. So
I think our athleticism category is probably going to be sort of the toughest one with all the characters
yeah,
because we're taking into account so many different aspects of them
yeah.
to mold it into one number. So
You know what? I think I'm going to give him an 8 for
I
athleticism.
I was honestly torn between 7 and 8. I'm also going to give him an 8.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just can't see Manos programming anything that would not um be a worthy ally in terms of what he can do, not just like his specialties and his intelligence, but he needs to be able to move, in battle quick and not just slug, just move like a sloth or a slug. It just he needs to be relatively quick.
Well, speaking of specialty, with him being a robot, he has quite a few attachments
Hmm.
for battle. Tyler, what are you thinking for that?
He is a
We
walking arsenal where he can go hand to hand combat with his axe, or go into a shootout with Trapjaw with his laser attachment. Um, and then he's got his power claw, so he can. It's another hand to hand. Well, I guess the axe is more weapons, but the claw is more hand to hand. But having that is I mean, him being a walking arsenal on top of that too, man, that gives him a big advantage. That if he decides, I need to be more close up, I can do that. If I need to be far away, I can do that. Not
Mhm,
everybody has that advantage.
that's true.
So if we're breaking it, and none of this is preconceived. I didn't think about any of this stuff in advance, people. So
I haven't
all this is
either.
just as
I
we're
had
talking
thought
right
about
now.
it. I had thought about it, but I was like, no, I think it would be better if I personally just went into this blind.
Yeah,
Listen,
I
and also I wanted to take into account, much like I do with any of the other topics we do on the show. I wanted to hear what your thought process too was, because if we're kind of syncing up in that, I'm like, just with the athleticism category that we just had for Roboto, I was sitting there thinking like, yeah, he's probably got some limitations to him. I'm kind of thinking maybe 7 or 8, and then as you're going, I'm like, yeah, there's that and that. Yeah, maybe pushing it up to 8's the way to go. But with him being this walking arsenal, I'll go ahead and give my rating for it first. He can do close combat. He can be at a distance if he needs to be, as you said. Not many character. Well, there are characters that have that, but not
yeah.
all of them. So I'm going to give him a solid. I'm going to give him a 9
All
for
right.
his specialty. I was thinking
Uh,
maybe 8, but I'm going to give him a 9.
I think just based on breaking it down that way, how versatile his specialties are in combat. From long distance to up close. I mean, looking at the Evil Warrior roster, I don't think there's anybody he couldn't go toe to toe with. Um, and same thing with the Horde. Snake Men, yeah, I think he would have the least amount of trouble. I mean, if you really want to get technical, like they had the heart in the mini comic, and then at that point, that plot point is removed at the end of the story, where Sorcerer puts a spell on it to where he can operate as a heroic warrior and have to worry about that weakness of having a heart that Man at Arms put in. There's obviously like a 10 men reference, but I'm going to say a 10 for
Okay.
specialty. Yeah,
All right. Nice. So far, man, like we're kind of we're
yeah.
on the same wavelength, and it's interesting too. Like as you add these up, so I have with mine now. I'm gonna have to do math.
I can't do
Uh,
math in my head to save my life, so I'm a tree stump when it comes to
well,
math.
that, and not only that, but I'm like on the spot too, being live on the show. I don't want to be dumb and
I'm
just like,
like,
oh,
dude,
well,
I need a
yeah.
calculator or count fingers, man, and I ain't ashamed to admit it.
um, well, already too. Speaking moistly, I'm following along, making my own scores.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. So I will keep these scores in mind. And I encourage all of you joining us here in the live chat, do the same. And also all of you watching after the fact, or if you're kind of lurking watching us live now, do what Speaking Moistly is doing. Make your own set ratings here. Leave the comment down below and let us know how you had everybody.
Yeah,
But
and give us a reason why you depicted this character with this rating. Like if it was like a particular one, you're like, no, I strongly believe that this character should be this, and here's why. Like
yeah,
encourage people come together, share all these thoughts, man. Like
yeah,
there are no wrong answers. There's no or anything like that.
no. And Johnny in the chat, and these power ratings, is 5 the literal middle of the road passing/passing threshold? Yeah, I would say so. I would
Yeah,
say, yeah,
I mean, granted, we were talking about people with unbelievable powers and abilities. So
yeah,
within this world, yeah, obviously there are no weak links. but in comparison to like, you know, I mean, it's. I guess you could think like. Well, if you look at the Marvel rank ratings, like, Wolverine's not going to have a 7 in intelligence. He's just
Right.
not,
Yeah.
but he's not stupid either. So I feel like he's a very intelligent person. So you probably would rank someone like Wolverine, at a 5, maybe a 4, in terms of, because a lot of times he's very hot headed and uh, you know, prone to tempers. Or someone like
And
Mister Fantastic, is one of the smartest men in the Marvel universe.
yeah.
He may lack some common sense in terms of his marriage and things like that. So where
But
do
the
you
book
put the villain?
smarts are there. The book
Yeah, the book
smarts are
smarts
there.
are yeah,
He's just not street smart.
yeah,
Uh, and to think about this too, we can also take other characters within the mythology. We can take characters from Filmation that don't have like a classics action figure or something, and
yeah,
they'll get thrown in here. You could
yeah,
be like Cousin Jeremy, man. Let's give Cousin Jeremy a power
yeah.
rating.
All a bunch of fucking ones
Yeah.
because
So
he sucks.
yeah, so we will do that along the way, which I think that
Yeah,
would be
expect to
fun.
see Shakoti and Mask and Negator and
They will all be here
Katrina,
at some point.
Malacta.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
they
All,
will all
all
be
all
here.
the great one shot heroes and villains: Icer, Fangman, Strong Arm.
Yeah.
Just there's no shortage. I mean, we could even bring in a couple of well, I can't think of any other like, well, like the faceless one from MYP. I mean, he'd be a solid contender for
Yeah.
this list as well too.
And that's
Um,
gonna be the fun of this because we can just do a bunch of episodes of these and, and really stretch it out if we want to.
yeah,
All right, Tyler, who we got up next?
we got Tongue Lasher of the Snake Men.
All right, well, starting with strength, what do you give Tongue Lasher?
There are no, I mean, very few people who lack physical strength, and Tongue Lasher physically outside of his specialty. I mean, not someone that's going to be easily just dismissed. It because I look at these characters as being seriously portrayed, not someone who just takes the piss out of them, or because they were written poorly in most stories. Like, I look at Tongue Lasher is a very, from not the smartest the Snake Man, but also not someone that you wouldn't want to fuck around with Tongue Lasher.
Yeah.
And I really don't subscribe to the idea that his gimmick would turn you to stone, much like how they had it in or put like that this kind of shell coating over your body.
Ah,
But physically, I give him a 7. Yeah.
I'm right there with you. I was thinking maybe 6 to drop him down just a
Hmm.
tad because, as you said, we got to look at this in the spectrum of just all of these characters.
Yeah.
I think 7 is definitely the way to go for him. It's like you said, he's not a pushover,
No,
but
not at all.
obviously, he could. Roboto could take him out.
Roboto could definitely take him down. I don't think it would be much of a struggle because Roboto's tongue, I don't think would be much of a threat. Let alone
Did you say
the strength,
Roboto's?
like his physical strength
Did you say
would
Roboto's tongue?
excuse me, tongue lasher's tongue. Excuse me.
I was like, huh?
Yeah, I'm having a
When did
massive.
Man at Arms put that one in there?
I don't know. I'm having a massive windy brain fart right now. It's
uh,
very airy.
you mentioned this briefly when you're talking about strength in terms of intelligence. Tongue Lasher, probably not the smartest one of the
No,
bunch.
because in Filmation he was depicted as a bit of a simpleton, much like how a lot of villains were
Right.
in latter seasons. And then his first mini comic appearance, he's a braggart, but he is he's a take charge kind of guy. MYP depicts him as just kind of a bit of a hulking henchman who is very loyal. I'd probably give him, outside of like giving him direct orders, I wouldn't expect him to be the one to kind of come up with like a great idea for King Hiss. I'd probably give him a 4.
Yeah. Yeah. I was
You
thinking the
know,
same thing. I close to a 5 because
yeah,
but when you really start thinking about it, yeah, in terms of the smarts, probably more on the lower end of things.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so
I mean,
far, man.
if I was writing and using tongue lasher, I would not. He would not be like a, "Grr," nothing like that. But
Right.
he would be someone that would be loyal and take orders, and just be a muscle. Just that's it. I
Yeah.
keep him relatively simple and threatening, like the snake man should be depicted.
Yeah. Well, in terms of athleticism, I think he ranks
He's a
pretty
fucking
high.
snake man. So,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna give him. mm,
I'm gonna give him an 8.
See, that's what I was gonna do too. I think nine's a bit too strong.
Yeah, I do too.
Because I feel like there's probably a couple of other snake men that I would probably raise a little bit higher on that ranking, but I think 8 still makes him a very uh, formidable threat, physically. And I mean, he's a snake man.
Yeah.
You don't picture any of the snake men just kind of, again, being really slow into action. And then with his specialty, he had it's like having a third arm. Like that tongue, can, I mean, it's like another muscle, like to wrap around your neck, around your arm, to prevent you from using a weapon or any kind of. And it's a quick strike. Like it's something that can happen without without paying attention to it, or even if you're constantly aware of it, doesn't mean that that tongue is not going to strike at your foot and pull your feet from underneath you. I'm gonna give him a 9.
Okay. Okay. Um, I don't know, man. I think in terms of his specialty, I think also too when I'm taking into consideration all the other snake men, I think he's kind of one of the weaker ones of the bunch.
See,
So
I
I'm
can
at.
see that, but if I start breaking down some of these others, I'm like, because I
I'm
think
gonna.
of like Rattler, like his head extends to strike, but I feel like, you know, and you get the rattle to let you know he's getting ready to attack or something like that. Whereas tongue lasher, I mean, you could be, in close combat or even at a distance, and that tongue he could be hiding in the brush, much like on his card art, like this, and just that tongue just snatches it, wraps around your neck. You're not even aware of it.
Yeah, but I don't think the tongue can go that far.
I'm not saying it would, no, because it needs to be, a relatively
Yeah.
rational length. We're not talking like the length of like Man at Arms' neck,
Right.
but he needs to be in a proximity to where it's like, yeah, he could sneak attack you, and you would never hear him coming. Um,
I'm
so
gonna
yeah,
give.
I'm gonna stick with my 9 though. Yeah.
All right, that's fair. I'm gonna give him a 7.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna give him a 7 because I mean, especially too when you start thinking about some of the other abilities, specialties that characters have. I think 7's still respectable
Yeah. No. No. There's nothing wrong with that.
in
Absolutely
that
not.
regard. I look at that we're filling it up already, man.
Yeah.
Up next is Trapjaw.
Wizard of Weapons.
So here we go. In terms of
Oh,
strength, what would you give Trapjaw?
Trapjaw's a badass. Regardless of some of his lousy depictions. Um, at times, I still look at him as a force to be reckoned with. He is a walking arsenal. Also, a guy who creates weapons as well to work with his arm attachments. Um, and because of that, I'd probably give him. Mm, fuck. Uh, I'm gonna give him a 9.
I between looking at Roboto and Trapjaw, I kind of strength. I was tempted to give him an 8. I was teetering on 8, and I might still stick with 8.
I only
But
say 9 because his strength is his specialty. You know, now he's not. Physically, yeah, I imagine he's very strong, but because part of his body is his weapons, his arsenal,
that's true.
that adds to his strength. Whether he's in having a shootout or he's in physical combat, he is part machine. So I'm not saying the left half of his body is just as strong. It would not be, but no, he's not a weakling by any means. But having that arsenal on the right side of his body makes him, very similar to Roboto in terms of strength, in my opinion. Now,
Hmm.
granted, it could be argued that if you fuck up his arm attachment, like the
Yeah,
way he can't insert anything, then you know what? You pretty much dismantled him.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna
But then
go with
again,
8.
too, he's got his mouth, but he can bite through a fucking everything too. So you know what? 9.
I'm gonna go with 8 for overall strength. I think when it
Okay.
comes to the specialty aspect, I'll probably go a little bit higher, but we will see. In terms of intelligence, Tyler Trapjaw, he's not dumb.
He's not well. Someone who creates his own weapons like that, he has to have a strong level of intelligence, And of course, Skeletor looks down upon everybody working under him. He's not. He is a henchman, a loyal henchman. But I can't imagine everyone being a complete simpleton. That works for Skeletor. Otherwise, he wouldn't have them around.
Yeah.
So I would probably give Trapjaw a 6 for intelligence.
Our first 6 on the grid. I'm teetering between 6 or a 7.
Okay.
I was thinking about bumping him up to 7, just because, as you said, there's got to be something there if he's making his own stuff.
I mean, yeah, to do that, you have to have an engineering mind, the brain of an engineer to come up with all these things, and a weapons expert to realize, okay, I need to enhance this to get better propulsion, or to sharpen this and then make this blade. Is this going to work in combat?
Yeah.
With this lasertron, will the energy bow, will that hit a certain amount of distance? Like things like that. I just feel like he's in a lab of some kind in Snake Mountain coming up, or in his own hideout, much like in House of Shakoti Part One, where he is manufacturing, a variety of things for Skeletor on top of his own weapons. So
Yeah.
he's going to have to be pretty damn smart,
Yeah.
And I think, it's a fixed smart. It's a weapon smart. It's not someone that Skeletor relies on for, to bounce ideas off of or anything like that. But I
Yeah.
think for what he does, he's got to be pretty fucking smart,
Yeah,
though.
I'm going to bump him up to a 7
Okay.
overall. In terms of his athleticism,
Um, I'd probably give him a 5. Like I don't, he's not someone lumbering around or anything like that, but
yeah.
he just doesn't strike me as someone who's, I mean, he's more of a weapons expert and long distance fighting, and of course, if he gets up close, he relies more on biting things too. So I don't see it as he's super quick in battle. I just don't picture him being like that. You know.
I'm going to give him a 6.
Okay.
Uh, I guess I agree with your points, but I'm kind of giving him a little more benefit of the doubt and bumping him up 1 when I'm really starting to think about it. I think five's a good like middle ground, but I like Trapjaw, so I'm gonna
Hey,
give
and
him a
that's
little
what this is.
nudge.
That's what all this is about.
Oh, absolutely, and that's
Yeah.
why I like the fact that we decided to go the route of just having our own separate
Yeah.
rankings because as we start accumulating characters, when we continue to do this down the road, our lists it's kind of looking like they're gonna. It's already starting to be a little different here. So
Yeah.
in terms of specialty, because you were lumping this in with strength, and obviously that plays a big role. We're talking
Yeah.
about multiple attachments. We're talking about his jaw, what all he can do here. So his specialty is pretty strong.
It is, and with that, it'd be kind of silly to rank it anything lower than a 9
Yeah.
because he has a walking arsenal. He has a knack for building his own weapons and creations that are mechanical for Skeletor from time to time as well. So someone like that, their skill is it's damn near perfect.
And much like Roboto can fight up close, can fight at a distance.
Yeah.
Very versatile in that regard. Mosquito up next.
Oh boy. Strength. Well, I mean,
I think the specialty is probably going to end up being the strongest aspect
it
of
is because
Mosquito here.
that's what he relies on is that it's like he needs to be he's like Raphael with his weapon of choice is up close.
Yeah.
And I think that's how Mosquito works. He is an up close and personal villain. He needs to be in close proximity to, if he were to, drain your strength, like have his needle pierce your body, then he could beat the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
So if you're willing to get close to his, his body, like hmm, see, if I was doing Mosquito, he would fly.
Yeah.
He would not have arachnid extra arms. No, he'd fucking fly.
Do
And
you
if he
want
if
Are we? Do you want to take that into consideration, or should that not count because it's not really been used
It's
hardly?
not been used. I'm just saying for my own preference, if I was writing the character, he would have wings, which would make him even more dangerous and deadly.
Yeah.
Um,
But if we're not using that, I
if
think
we're
in
not using that, I'm gonna say just straight strength wise, I probably give him a 6.
yeah. Once again, I was thinking either 6 or 7 in terms
Hmm.
of strength for Mosquito. Yeah, I am also going to go with a 6 here. In terms of intelligence, this one you would probably have to help me out with a little bit because I
Well,
don't really
because
know how smart Mosquito is.
he's essentially a creation by Hordak to just he's not a robot by any means, but he's just he's a very traditionally loyal henchman. He was at the tail end of the line, so we didn't get a whole lot of a lot of depictions. So I'd say because I almost feel like to say anything, I'll give him a 5 of intelligence because you know I just feel like I'm sorry, no matter what formation, how they depicted the evil horde, the evil hordemen, I don't look at any of the hordemen as dummies. I do
Yeah,
not see Grizzlor and Montana as being whipping boys or Leech as an idiot. I see them all as like relatively intelligent. They may not be the smartest of the smart, but they're not dummies
yeah,
because Hordak would not have dummies working for him.
yeah.
So I figured he has like average intelligence, just because he's just a loyal henchman with a very impactful specialty.
Yeah, I will go 5 as well. Much like how Johnny was asking us, does this size up to middle ground? Yeah, I think the 5 really applies here for being the middle of the road.
Yeah.
Uh, as you said, being towards the end of the line, there wasn't as much with
Mhm.
Mosquito that was out there to really give you an idea of how smart this character can
It,
be.
it, it
So,
really for some of those two, it would really be up to how people would, if Mosquito is a personal favorite, like Pixel Dan, he's the biggest Mosquito fan of all time.
yeah,
In his mind, he may feel that Mosquito is a 9, maybe even a 10 in
yeah,
strength because he's so passionate about that character. It depends on, if you really, and there's not, they're all great characters. I think because it's hard for me to envision Mosquito as being anything that would be uh like a modulock in terms of intelligence that Hordak would rely to. I
we're
just
getting
feel
there.
like, yeah, we're getting there. But I just I think he would just be in the middle of the ground. I would not never depict him as an idiot or anything like that, but
Yeah.
just someone who was all right, Mosquito, you know what to do, and just
All
he
right.
goes and does it.
And agility wise, looking a little high for Mosquito here, I would say, but I could be much higher if you factor in Tyler wanting to put wings on him.
Yeah, and if you look at the full horseman staction, they make him more gangly, more insect like he's a lot slimmer,
Yeah,
which would make him like a lot more faster. And I like to think too, him being but he is a big hulking mosquito man.
yeah.
So
I mean, he's got to be fast.
he has to be relatively fast because I feel like for him to enact his specialty, like you just can't hope people are going to stay put unless you're really good about sneaking up on people. Like, he's
Yeah,
not going to do that to Cyclone.
yeah.
But if he was, if Fisto's in the middle of combat with Grizzlor and Dilamug, just keeping Fisto busy, like Mosquito sneaks up behind him, like Fisto's finished.
I'm gonna give him an 8 for athleticism.
For athleticism, I want to give him a 7.
Okay, 7 marked in there, and finally for the specialty, we
9.
got we got to
9.
think though. He's got to be up close, but when he gets you, it's really strong. Like
I
it's
mean,
it.
and just the way they would do it in the mini comics when they do it properly is that you get these characters over strong, and when Mosquito is strong enough to drain He-Man's strength, that says something about that character that when he can, if given the opportunity, can weaken the most powerful man in the universe. That's something you want to have on your side if you're if you're a Hordak.
Yeah,
So if he's around and had the and the opportunity strikes, he can take out damn near anybody. So I think for that it gives him a 9 if his specialty is presented in the right situation.
yeah. I'm gonna knock it down one and give him an 8 just because he doesn't have the distance on it. You got to be close to him.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
it is devastating, but I'm actually going to agree with Speaking Moistly here.
Okay.
Our rating for Mosquito is exactly the same, and I've been saving these. So when we get to the end, Speaking Moistly, I'll put all of Speaking Moistly's
Cool.
numbers up so we can get
I
a
appreciate it
better idea.
participating.
So now that we got Mosquito completed, who's up next, Tyler?
Oh, we got Spikor, the untouchable master of combat.
All right. Well, if he's a
Oh,
master
boy.
of combat, what are we giving him for strength?
Oh, I got to give him a. You know, I look. I look at Trapjaw, and I gave him a 9.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, Spikor has got a trident for one hand, and he's got a spiked head and a spiked upper body. Like, that gives him such a. Now, obviously, he's a hand to hand combat fighter. Like, he's not somebody going to be using from a distance or anything like that. But if you're locked in hand to hand combat with this guy, he will fuck you up. 9, 9 by far, man. Like, I hate how Filmation depicted him. He is someone that should be depicted as not just a blacksmith, but someone that, like, look at the guy. Like, I don't care, like, if he's fighting He-Man or Clamp Champ or Jitsu or not Jitsu, Fisto. Like, in close proximity, man, like, you run the risk of being pierced multiple times. If he headbutts you,
Yeah.
dude, your head's gonna get really fucked up. And then he can impale you with his trident or just bear hug you and impale his spikes into your back.
Yeah. I mean, in that regard, if we're giving Trapjaw a 9, then I think it is probably only logical and fair to give Spikor a 9
Yeah.
for strength. What about in terms of intelligence?
He's a blacksmith, so he's got a knowledge of weapons, at least, for iron weapons, weapons forged from metals and things like that. And Filmation did such a terrible job of depicting him as just this, I mean, like, dumbest of the dumb. And I don't subscribe to that. Never had, never will. I'm probably going to give him a 6 of intelligence. I find it insulting that they made him so stupid. I think a lot of people probably rank him as a 1 because of the way he was depicted, but not in my book.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick middle of the road with him here.
Okay.
I agree with you that. Well, I mean, a good chunk of these characters probably weren't depicted the best way in terms of Filmation, but being a blacksmith, smart enough in that regard, but obviously isn't going to kind of go beyond that. I wouldn't think so. I'm going to go in the middle and go with a 5.
That's a fair argument.
In terms of athleticism, what's the stamina, speed, and endurance of this guy?
I don't see him as moving super quick on the battlefield. Someone who's, he needs to be close to someone. I imagine he'd be very good in hand-to-hand combat, but I just don't see him super fast. I'm probably going to give him a 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't really, honestly, I haven't really thought about his speed. You know what? I'm gonna go in terms of intel. Yeah, I'm gonna go 5. I'll go 5.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to give him do him a little bit better than Filmation did, and then of course his specialty. You brought up his spike body, his trident that he's got.
Yeah, I think breaking down, like, if he's in because it's always great to see these characters in hand-to-hand combat or in close proximity fighting with the weapons. He's someone you can't run the risk of touching because your hand, your shoulders, your head, your back, anything. I think because of that, because of, like, of anybody from Man at Arms to Fisto, Clamp Champ, Mechanic, Buzz Off. If he were to lock a bear hug on you, or even just if you're fighting close and he decides to headbutt you,
Mm-hmm.
not only taking a headbutt to the head, but a spiked headbutt to the head, I think would do enough to fuck up any of the heroic warriors. So I'm gonna give him his due. I'm gonna give him a 10.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. 10 across. Let's see here. Oh man, kind of torn on this because I've given Trapjaw and Roboto 9s, and I gave Mosquito an 8. And if Mosquito gets to you, you're pretty fucked. I'm gonna go 8 for Spikor.
Okay, that's solid.
Yeah, because I think when I'm starting to think about other characters too, like yeah, it's strong, but I feel like I can't put it. I can't put him quite over that hump over a couple of the other characters that we got.
I get it, and that's only logical as we're putting these lists together.
Yeah,
You start setting the groundwork. You realize, well, look, I said this for this character. Like, I can't justify that because if I put him,
yeah,
it makes perfect sense.
yeah.
Within our own rankings.
So I'll make sure too when we're done with this that I will screenshot it and I'll have it saved. That way we can show the results on the next episode, and then I'll have another graphic that'll have the totals and have everyone like ranked on each of our lists, and
Hmm.
then we'll have it there for reference as we continue to go forward. Because I think it would be good to have it because there's so many other characters. We're only doing 9 here, so when we get to the 6th episode of doing this, it's like, hey, you remember on episode 1 when you gave Spikor a 10? Well, you're giving this character this, and you gave Spikor a 10, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh man, you know what? Filmation was right.
it's
No.
like, man, I'm feeling like I'm so beyond John Nally right now.
I saw my uncle today, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah, yeah. So anytime I see family out in public, uh, usually it's not a bad thing, but I have this tendency, this really bad tendency that it catches me off guard. So I'll just be like in Walmart or a grocery store or something, and someone will say my name and turn. And I'll see him, and I'll just audibly, you'll see. I'm like, God damn it! Like I don't want to have small talk and
I
do
don't
that
either.
whole
I'm the
thing.
same way. So unless I'm caught, if I see anyone in advance, I'm like, I'm going the other way. I'm
Yeah,
here to do my grocery shopping and get the fuck out of here. I do not want to have idle chit chat. I just
yeah,
don't. I don't want to catch up. Nothing's changed. I'm still who I am.
yeah. You're still, hanging out playing Nintendo.
Playing Nintendo. Yeah. The same thing I told you last time. I
Oh,
don't want to hear about the
just
fucking weather. Yeah, it's
sitting
warm, it's
around
cold, it's rain, whatever. I don't care.
playing Nintendo. Cock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mega J Retro. Ooh, power ratings for Master Universe.
Hope you
Yeah,
enjoy, man. Give us
yeah.
your own.
Uh, also brings up. I'm guessing He-Man is out. No, we will. He-Man will be a part of this. Everyone
Yeah.
will get a power rating at some point.
Yeah. He-Man, Skeletor, Hordak, King, it's all the main ones, and She-Ra.
Yeah,
We'll work them all in. I probably should have
everybody.
put in a female because this is a sausage fest here, but you know what? I just,
Well, hey, we'll fix that next time around.
yeah, I'll
We'll
make sure to put in quite a few lovely ladies in our next one.
there we go. How about we'll pick 3? That way, a third of the field will be women next go.
Absolutely.
All right, who we got next?
We have Cobra Khan, the evil master of snakes. Strength wise, man, this is cream of the crop, man. He's one of the top tier evil warriors in my opinion. Uh, Strength wise, I'm going to give him an 8
Okay.
because I feel like he is a snake man. He's one of the smartest of Skeletor's evil warriors. So because of that, I feel like he can advance with his strengths quite great. Not to mention if you subscribe to Formation, where he has extendable arms. Not to mention the Cobra Flap that can emit, a gas, or MYP where he spits acid out. He just I feel like he is one of the strongest of Snake Men in general, just because as a package, not his specialty, his intelligence and natural strength as a Snake Man. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Are
just
you
feel like
saying he's the total package?
he's the total package, man. Torture racked.
T-shirts are too
His
tight.
t-shirts are too tight. He's pissed now.
Super Brawl Saturday.
Super. I don't even know what is it called. What is it called?
Can you even afford to pay me to wrestle, Ron? I don't know. I'm gonna give him an 8 because if we're giving Tongue Lasher a 7, I think obviously I think he's a little bit above, and you can't get that high of a ranking within a group if you're not kind of stronger than the others.
Yeah,
I feel like now, granted, intelligence can also take you a long way.
I think because of him being the total package that he is that he could use his natural physical strengths a lot more better than say Tongue Lasher and Rattler would. But that depends. If you just subscribe to how the way Rattler and Tongue Lasher were depicted in Filmation, very justified. You want to use it how they were depicted in MYP. Tongue Lasher and Rattler are very formidable, and Rattler is the number one. He's the general in King Hansel's army, not Cobra Khan. It depends on what your preference is.
Yeah.
But for me, I hold Cobra Khan in the highest regard of the evil warrior. He's an evil warrior, not a snake man. And because of that, I always see him as one of Skeletor's smartest evil warriors by far. So, and because yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
That is Cobra Khan. Cobra Khan is the Lex Luger of Masters of the Universe. Oh,
I'm
and
sure.
I'd love to meet Lex Luger and have an autograph a Cobra Khan figure.
He'll be like, what the hell is this, kid?
It's like, yeah, just watch this podcast, you'll understand. I get Lex Luger to plug our podcast.
Yeah, we'll bring him on. We'll talk about
Yeah,
the Lex Express. We'll talk about
the bionic elbow. I mean, the bionic forearm. Excuse me.
yeah,
Bionic.
that's
Yeah,
that steel plate that he had in his arm from that
yeah,
motorcycle accident or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk about him and the gym that him and Sting owned together.
Oh yeah.
We'll talk about when he beat Hogan, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty awesome." And then he lost the title like 6 days later. I'm like, "Man, what the fuck? What are they doing over
Yeah,
there?"
I never had. I get all the criticism he gets as a wrestler, but I always liked Lex. I never
Oh
saw him
yeah,
as like this substandard wrestler. Like he looked great. When his promos were right, I thought he had a good voice.
yeah,
And I just thought, yeah, he looked the part. I'm like, yeah, I like Lex Luger, and I thought I loved him when he was the babyface in WWF. Like I can't help it. I was all about. I get the problems with it now,
yeah,
but as a kid, I was behind that 150%. Like I thought he was a great replacement in terms of like lead babyface, but I was a Bret Hart guy as well.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I was quite torn during
I
that
mean,
particular Royal Rumble.
it was cool when he shows up on that battleship and slams Yokozuna and
I
everything.
watched that. I thought this was amazing. I was so behind that.
But the biggest thing, and they talk about it in that documentary, is he wasn't the type of person that wanted to do all the meet and greets, and
Yes.
so and it came across that way. And obviously, like I know that he looks at everything way differently now than he did back then, which is great. But he was also one of those people that he didn't like wrestling when he was a kid. He
He
got
was
it.
not in it because he was passionate for wrestling. It
He
was a job, it paid well,
Yep, he got
and it
into it
was
because football didn't work out, and he had the body, and he made it happen. But I'm with you. Like if you go back and watch some of the old NWA stuff, like matches he had with Flair and all those guys around that time when he's kind of hovering around the title picture, like yeah, he worked really well. It's like you said, promos not the best, but when it worked, and it was
yeah.
always back then they would put a manager with him when he had like Harley Race and shit with him. It was really. I mean, no, I have no problems with him at all. I actually really got into him around that time when they put the strap on him and he was feuding with NWO and everything. He got over pretty well. So yeah,
Yeah, and definitely someone who looked like who could be, a top tier babyface, a guy you could run with. And I look back at, his run in WWF and to learn all the stories like, okay, well, he's over, but not as over as we want him to be. And
hmm
we're gonna do all these things. Like I just felt it was so silly that you know what, you're going this far with him. Well, just put the fucking belt on him, give him a couple months. If he doesn't drop, fucking take it off. But like they kept doing all this pushing without actually putting the belt on him for damn near I don't know how long it was.
have
Like
you
almost a
seen
year.
have you seen that clip where they filmed him coming out? The thing is like a superstars taping. He came out with the title and they like
Which I heard
announced.
about that. I'd never
Yeah,
seen it though.
I'll have to. We'll watch it after the show.
Okay.
But back to the total package of the
Yeah.
Masters Universe.
Intelligence. I give him a 9.
Okay.
I think he's very, very smart. Not super, super smart, but definitely one of the most intelligent villains in the mythology by far. I mean, just he's always depicted very confidently. I mean, whether it's NYP, Filmation, the Golden Books or mini comics, which he's not in it hardly at all, but still consistently depicted as very, very intelligent.
I'm gonna give him an 8.
Okay.
Because I think when we get in the 9s and 10s, we're talking like upper echelon shit here. So I'm gonna kind of put him right underneath that on the cusp, and I'm
Okay.
gonna I'm gonna go with an 8 in terms of athleticism. This one's pretty high relatively.
Yeah, it's either gonna be a 9 or 10 for me because he's smart and he's like he's not hulking like kind of Rattler and Tongue Lasher kind of seem to be a little bit. Whereas I mean, if you look at the classic figures, everyone's relatively proportion, much like in the original line. But I tend to think of Cobra Khan as being a bit slimmer
Yeah.
as a Snake Man. Um, not full on MYP, but I don't know. I just envision him as being a lot more quicker than a lot of the Snake Man. I probably would put Squeeze up there as probably being one of the quickest because of like his reach and being like, essentially an anaconda man. Um, for speeding, I'm gonna give him a 10.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I am going to give him a 9.
And he's got one of the best gimmicks. Granted, you've got to be in relatively close proximity, but you are out. You are knocked the fuck out if he gets close to you and emits that gas or acid, depending on which version of Cobra Khan you want to use.
Well, if we're going with, let's talk about the acid one. Well, what type of acid are we talking here? We're talking like xenomorph, like if it hits something, it's gonna breach
Yeah, it melt.
multiple
Yeah, I
layers.
mean, it deteriorates metal as we've seen in his first appearance at Snake Pit. Like he hits Zodak's helmet and it burns the mask, like it deteriorates.
Yeah,
So it will eat through metal. So imagine if he emitted enough acid at the floor in that version, he probably could, burn a hole through a floor. Now it'd probably be a bit draining because you don't know exactly how much acid he can emit from his body.
yeah,
I imagine that's part of his body, bodily function. So you just feel like you can't just keep over and over
yeah.
and over
It's got to be
spitting
a
out.
much like dragons. It would have to have some sort of
Yeah,
recharge to
yeah,
it.
recharge, something like that. And then of course the same thing with the gas. Like it's like something you don't use over and over and over again. You use it at the right time and emit the most sufficient amount of gas, knockout gas that he
Yeah.
emits at the right time. You can knock out two or three evil warriors if they're close enough. So oh man.
Um,
I
I
hey,
I'm
I give
I'm
Spike a 10, so and that logic, man, Cobra Khan gets a 10 easy
I,
because of that.
I'm gonna go 9.
Okay,
You're going 10.
I'm going 10.
All right. I have yet to give out a 10.
Hey, well, hey, you have very particular taste.
Up next, a staple in the Master Universe.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like you could probably. I think the amount, man. How would I? How's the saying usually go? The amount of stories that he's not in are the ones you would probably have to name compared to all the ones that he is in. Because
Yeah, he is always involved in some form or other. Whether he created something for the story, he's a
yeah,
part of the battle, or both,
yeah,
or he's offering advice. He is. I mean, you cannot have Master of the Universe without Man at Arms.
yeah.
I mean, he's as much a staple as Castle Grayskull is.
Well, in terms of strength, where we got Man at Arms.
Uh, Definitely one of the best in hand to hand combat. Like I can't see him. He's not going to pick Beastman up over his head, but I feel like he could disarm. If we're just going like straight Man at Arms with his battle mace, nothing else.
Yeah.
None of his shit stain remover weapons and all this other special gimmicks that he comes up with, or a definite NYP where he just admits all these guns that come out of his ass and just like, dude, this is like, come on, man, like enough. You guys are going too far with this.
Come on, man.
Yeah, come on, man. I'm probably gonna give him a 7
Okay.
for strength. Like he's obviously quite strong, not a weakling by any means. His intelligence as a fighter, I would, I feel like if I go 8, like, come on, we're getting up there close to like, um, I don't know, like, I mean, Fisto would be a 9 for like argument's sake. Like, I can't have Man at Arms be just a step below Fisto. Like, just nah, can't do that.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna step down just a tad. I'm gonna go 6.
I can't argue that. I'd be
I'm
close to almost saying the 6 as well because he is the most human next to
yeah,
Tila.
right.
I mean, and Clan Champ is too, but I'm sorry, but Clan Champ's fucking badass.
Yeah.
You know what? Make mine 6 too.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry, but he is still a standard human with armor, but very good and a skilled fighter. But he's not someone that's going to. He won't be winning a bench press contest. I'll just put it that way.
Right. But
Yeah.
in terms of intelligence, man at
Oh,
arms.
10.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking
Yeah.
about someone who's created, you know, a good portion of the mythology, from weapons to actual warriors to vehicles to being Adam's mentor, He-Man's mentor. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, in terms of intelligence, very, very, very few will rival him in terms of intelligence.
Yep. And with this, I will finally hand out my first 10 of the power rating because you can't argue that. Like
Yeah.
in terms of the heroic warriors, you have to argue probably the smartest on that side of the coin.
Yeah, because even though He-Man, is very smart and slash Adam, like
Yeah.
he's not coming up with all these weapons and scientific experiments and things like that, things to advance the arsenal of the royal palace. Um, I think he'll probably be the only person in terms of intelligence that would rank over He-Man. Um, just because of the things he can do,
Yeah.
but that's his forte. He is a weapons expert. He makes weapons. He creates vehicles. He creates roboto and various other things. So he needs to have. If there's one thing that he's the strongest at, it's his intelligence. I think by
Yeah.
far.
Well, speaking of a category that I don't think he's as strong in, let's go with his athleticism.
Yeah, I'd say he'd have to be in pretty damn good shape because he is a human. He can tangle with I could see him fighting Merman, Beastman, and some of the others that don't like have projectiles and things. But even if they could, I could see him like maneuvering well to stop some or avoid some. I'm going to give him a 6 for agility. I feel
Okay.
like his strength and agility would be evenly matched because of his skills as a combat warrior.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I was tempted to go 5, but yeah, you can't be. I think in that regard, he probably needs to be equal to his strength a little bit
Yeah.
more. And in terms of his specialty,
Well, he is. He doesn't really have a specialty outside of like what his character can do as a character. So he doesn't have, multiple heads, arm attachments, sprays water out of his mouth or
yeah,
anything
but
like
he's got
that.
he's got the Shipmaster 2000 or
Well, he
whatever.
does have that, so I might have to think about giving him a 10 on that one. I'm going to give him a 5
Okay.
because Man at Arms is no weak link by any means in terms of his specialty, but comparing what the gimmicks of the others,
Yeah. Yeah,
he's pretty average.
gimmick wise, it's just it's his more of his
Yeah.
brains. But when you're looking at it that way, we can't
So
really
you
give it
can't
a
you can't make
10.
him a 9. Like
Yeah.
you just can't do that. No.
Uh yeah, five. Fuck it. Five's probably the best. I was honestly tempted to just go maybe like 4, just
Well,
because
and
it
hey,
doesn't
and
it
that's
doesn't really
fine because
exist.
yeah, because he doesn't have a gimmick. He has no specialty outside of making weapons.
Yeah.
He is the master of weapons, but in terms of like the character gimmick, no, he has none. So yeah, if you said 4, like I can't argue that. I'm
This
not
is
going to argue that.
rigged. And now on to everyone's, a lot of people's favorite late released figure in the
Fuck yeah.
waves. Yeah, Extendar.
I Extendar man, is someone that I have made the mistake of forgetting to mention him in terms of strength. Because when I stop and think about him, I put him up there next to Fisto and Clampchamp. We're talking about a guy who can extend his body. He's a very hulking man, and I think because of these, bionic mechanical parts, makes his strength. I mean, he's up there. I'm really, I'm going to give him a 9. I think he deserves to be up there in terms of strength. Not He-Man range, of course, but next to Fisto, yeah, fuck yeah.
Hmm. I'm thinking either thinking either 8 or 9
Okay.
for him. Because I mean, you don't get in that position that you're in because you're weak. Like obviously he's very well trained in his hand to hand. Yeah, I mean, it might not be a popular opinion, but it is our opinions, right? So I'll go 9 for strength.
All right. Awesome.
In terms of intelligence,
I'm going to give him about a 5.
okay.
I don't see him as anything special in terms of that. He's a good ally and great friend to He-Man, and that loyalty just makes him, he's good. You know, I just see 5 is a fair ranking for him.
I'm gonna go 4. I'm gonna
Okay.
I'm thinking more in terms of like tongue lasher. Like
Okay.
he's probably not the brightest bulb, but he's there and he always wants to do what's right, be by your side, do that stuff. But I can see Extendar for as strong as he is finding himself in situations because the smarts aren't quite where they need to be.
Okay. I can see that.
In terms of athleticism,
If you look at the mini comic, he was, I think, even the UK annual. I think him and Draxler were both like athletes,
yeah.
and he was captured by Hordak in the mini comics as well, and turned into Extendar, much like how Dragster was too. But with the knight armor and his size, um, I don't see him moving super fast, but I also don't see him, dragging his feet because of his extending size either. Um,
I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna go 7. I think.
you know what? I'm gonna go 6,
Okay.
above average.
Mike Sanders. You have no idea who I'm talking about.
And I do not know.
WCW Natural Born Thrillers. He was the shorter guy in the group. He was a really good promo.
When was that tag team?
It was a stable. So it was Jindrak, O'Hare, Chuck Palumbo, Mike Sanders. I think Reno was a part of it. Sean
all right,
Sean Stasiak was a part of it.
Okay, because I was not watching much WCW around that time.
Okay.
Like I dabbled because I was gearing more towards WWF
Yes.
during that time.
Yeah. Fuck the Fed.
But I was watching some because I was aware of like the tag team of Sean O'Hare and Chuck Palumbo. I do remember Sean Stasiak being in WCW though.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah,
he was there.
I had heard of that faction. I knew nothing of them though.
So he defeated Kurt Hennig and essentially took his gimmick. So he was the perfect Sean or whatever. It was stupid. Yeah, it was dumb. Here's Mike Sanders.
He looks very familiar.
There's above average Mike Sanders.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, from this photo, it looks like you just threw some sunglasses on Chris Benoit and shrunk him down a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, but he was really good promo. But yeah. And of course, like Sean O'Hare was awesome. I loved him, especially when he did that Devil's Advocate gimmick that they were trying to push on him in WWF. Where
was he like kind of like the shaggy hair?
Yeah, yeah, and he teamed with Piper for a little bit. But those vignettes, he's like, "I'm not telling you anything you don't already know." He's like, "Go ahead, cheat on your wife. She won't find out." Like just doing that stuff.
I definitely did not see that.
Yeah, well, I'll have to send you some of those too because that was pretty good stuff. But apparently, it took so many takes to get those done that they put him on SmackDown because they didn't trust him with a live mic. So there you go. Extendar's specialty.
Oh God, man, it's a great gimmick. 9.
I'm gonna go 9 as well.
Yeah.
Can we discuss? Because it seems like there was a tinge of sarcasm with me when we first brought him up because it turns out that Extendar is apparently not very popular. A lot of people thought it was like a shitty figure.
Yeah, well,
why is that? Is it just those kids that were getting older and with it being towards the end of the line, they're like, I'm too old for this.
I don't know because people the fans love the statement, which came out the same fucking year, same year as the Rock Wars, same year as Multi-Bot and Drag Store.
You think maybe just too gimmicky of an action figure?
because the first time I ever saw him was in the Snake Attack mini comic, and I didn't even know he was an action figure. I never saw him, and I just thought he was just a made up character for that mini comic. But when I see him, got him in hand, like God, this guy's he's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And I really don't understand why the fans look at the 86 wave, and I'm sure that there are fans out there, but he tends to be lumped in there as like, ah. And I'm here to fight that kind of mindset, because I feel like there are no shitty figures in Master. I don't give a fuck what you think. There are no shitty figures. There's no
That's
shitty
fair.
characters. There's no shitty gimmicks. And a guy that can extend his entire body and become the tallest of all the Master of the Universe characters. I mean, short of Tallstar from She-Ra. I mean, I'm like the guy is just I mean, he just looks amazing, and I've never talked to anybody, because I don't talk to too many fans, but I just
I mean, it's
no one's
Tyler
ever
Stouch 4. He doesn't want to have small talk with anybody, all right?
well, but if they're willing to talk about Master of the Universe, yeah, you know, but it just doesn't have what few people in my vicinity that talk He-Man. I could say Extendar, like, who's that?
Yeah,
Just put it that way.
right.
It's just a very short collection of people, and you already know who they are, that I could talk Master of the Universe with, and who
Yeah,
would know who Extendar is. So
right.
I've never understood it. It doesn't seem justified. I think if people just start to think, that's when the line started. No, it's just when people just chose to stop
I
buying the
mean,
toys for whatever reason.
yeah, I mean, it is kind of crazy, and we've discussed this before, and there are characters in that toy line that people didn't. They're like, I had no idea about Clam
Yeah,
Champ, and it's the same people that I didn't know about New Adventures. I didn't know about MYP. I didn't know about classics. So I think I've said this before, and I'm pretty sure you rolled your eyes. That would be, I guess, one plus of the Origins figures coming out now. Is it kind of, oh, okay, there's something out there. I get it. It's subpar and blah blah
but
blah.
even
But
that could be said too. I mean, they don't do
yeah,
commercials for it. It's not heavily like promoted on
yeah, it's
TV or
true.
anything like that. Outside of, you have to be, of a certain age, and to be aware of that there was even a cartoon called He-Man and the Master Universe, and that there was an 80s toy line at this point. Because how many more times people say, I wasn't aware there was a toy line. They did it again in 2000. They did it again in 1989. They did it again in 2008. They did it again, and right now. Like,
They
how
did it
many
again.
more fucking times are people would say, I didn't know, I didn't know. Well, what the fuck were you doing? What were you collecting that you had a fucking idea?
And they were probably too busy, like having families and stuff.
Hitting or beating off, or whatever.
Speaking
You know.
moistly, it says this Extendar gets shade for me because I like Mechanic, but Extendar takes Mechanic's gimmick and puts it to shame.
No, I will argue that, because, and I made a point in my one of the unpublished stories that I wrote, is that Extendar and Mechanic belong on the same playing field. But what Mechanic can do that Extendar cannot is have enhanced vision.
Mhm.
Obviously, Mechanic's a skilled fighter, nowhere near as strong as Extendar. Extendar can extend his head up, but Mechanic is a human periscope. Extendar, and I made a point to say that in the story that I wrote, where Extendar says, "Look, I don't have Mechanic's enhanced vision, but clearly there's some, that village is under attack right now." Whereas Mechanic can look and see, "Oh my God, it's the fucking horde. It's
Yeah.
Dialamog and Trapta and fucking Leech and Mosquito are attacking this village. Like, we got to stop them." Extendar couldn't do that. Now, he obviously he can do more. He'd be a great adversary for Squeeze, because Squeeze can wrap, has like extending arms. Extendar has extending arms and legs as well. But no, I feel like there is merit for both, and people who like to shit on Mechanic and shit on Extendar, I'm gonna take that shit. I'm gonna shove it in your fucking face, because you don't know fuck all about He-Man and the Master Universe. Um, I'm glad I'm glad he likes Extendar. But I just want to show that Mechanic belongs on the same battle lines as Extendar does.
Well,
Otherwise,
Tyler,
I'll rub your shit in your face.
so eloquently put. And with that, we have our
And I can't understand
last.
why Mattel doesn't hire me.
We have our last character to power rate,
Oh man,
and we got Modulok here
10. We're
for
talking about
strength.
someone.
For strength, we're going 10.
I just feel like someone who can turn his entire body Well, no, wait. I mean, but that is the gimmick. Let me back up here because Modular's my favorite horseman. In terms of physical strength,
I mean, you kind of I guess have to work the specialty into the strength
it
to a
it is
certain
because
degree.
that's part of his strength because he relies on manipulating his body into different forms. But
You also, I guess, in the way you have to take into consideration the filmation portrayal too.
yeah, is that even though he can change information, he can change his hands into weapons, whereas like the character itself manipulates his body into different
Right.
shapes, not his hands.
Yeah.
Um, Whereas I look at Modulus traditionally as like someone who just manipulates his body and is very intelligent. I don't see him as someone that can turn both his hands into like large hammers or into a large laser gauntlet on his hand. I just, even though it's cool in the cartoon, I would not write the character like that. So I can't see. Yeah, all right. Let me back up because I'm just got excited. Modulot hand to hand is not going to take down Fisto. It's just not. Now
Right.
Fisto would have a hard time defeating him because of the constant body changing and morphing and flip flopping and different parts and things like that. So, but if Fisto were to get a hold of Modulok, I mean that fist is gonna probably smash his head clean out of his ass.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm going to give him a 7 in terms of just pure physical strength.
So that's a good number. Once again, I'm bouncing between a couple of them, but I think ultimately I'm going to have to agree with you and go with 7.
Okay,
Now, intelligence.
10.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry, I that
yeah,
that is a flat 10.
yeah. Has to be. I think
Yeah,
anything
there's
less
no,
than
there's no
that,
argument. There's nobody that could justify anything lower than a 10 for the character.
anything less would be uncivilized.
Civilize, just like Chuck Norris and Charles Barkley would say in the right guard sports stick or speed stick commercials.
In terms of athleticism,
He's quick because he can manipulate his body. I mean, with a thought. I mean, he split into two, reemerge as one. Just like that. And I think
yeah.
that makes him quick because of how he can reposition his body very quickly. Like, not quick in terms of fast, but because of his specialty, that makes him very irritating to catch if he is, trying to avoid capture or he wants to irritate his opponent if he has to go in hand to hand combat.
Well, what about in regards to of like the stamina endurance part of this?
In that regard, like, I'm not going to give him,
Do you
you
see
know,
him kind of lasting a decent amount of time when he's doing all this shape shifting?
I never thought if the constant shapeshifting would be draining on him or something he could just keep up repetitive because you know what I that he creates this ability to modulate his body in any
But
size or shape.
if you're going to start going in that regard, then it's like, well, then what would he make for to up his strength as well?
Yeah,
So it's kind of a tough one.
I guess
That's
because
that's why this category itself is kind of
it
I think
is
kind of
like
the biggest one to struggle
he's
with
not
because
like
it's
like you said if because like information like he doesn't change his body into like multiple different creatures. He just maintains his body and would change and manipulate his hands.
yeah.
Um, but I think if the character is like starting with one head, adds another one, and it learns to modulate his body, um, I think over time, obviously with anything else, I think it would get a little taxing.
Well, I think with any of these guys
Yeah,
over
and
time
with
it would.
any of them, like they can't just go and go and go and go. Eventually, I think the constant shape shifting would eventually like get tiresome. But that's why I feel like Modulok would only do it because if he felt like this was the right moment to do it because of his intelligence.
Right.
He would only use it when it was absolutely necessary. Like if he was like, really wanted to irritate an opponent, I think he could do it enough to where it would throw them off balance, use his blaster maybe to take them out. So I'm gonna say
I'm gonna go 9.
I'm gonna go 8.
I'll go a little bit higher because also too I'm kind of comparing it to what I've rated everyone else in
Okay.
the category as well. And like you said, with him shifting and everything, he'd be pretty quick about it. He'd also be smart about it.
Hmm.
So kind of gives him a little bit of an edge there,
Yeah.
let's say. And then of course his specialty, very
10.
strong. Yeah.
10. Absolutely. No one can do what he does. No one can come close to what he does. That's why he has to create someone in his own likeness to do what he does in multibot.
I'm gonna give him a 10 as well. I'll keep this up in OBS and screenshot it. I will tally up everything after we're done with the show, and I will have all of these graphics ready for the next time that we do the power ratings. But there they are for everyone at home to take in, get a good look. And as we said before, leave us a comment down below and give us your ratings for all of these characters and in each of the categories. With that being said, I already put in the chat. If you got some questions, we'll take some questions from you all, and I will get to speaking Moistly's rankings here
Okay.
momentarily. But let me go ahead and get all of this swapped around. Tyler, did you get your crystal ball figure in the mail yet?
I did. He's on my shelf. He's the only character I was able to fit on the shelf because he wasn't an army builder. So he's sitting right next to Croc Master and Copperhead.
Let me ask you this because we both pre-ordered that from Walmart. Did they just ship it to you in a bag?
Nah, it was in a. I thought it was like a. I thought it was a package from eBay I got, and it was just this kind of generic looking little box, like nothing.
Yours was in a box.
Yeah, mine was in a box. Yeah.
That must have been nice. They put mine in a bag, dude. And I'm not talking like bubble wrapped Amazon kind of thing. It was just in a bag, like a brown bag that had like the Walmart logo on it. Luckily, I'm not an inbox collector because the top left corner, I mean, was beat all to shit.
Oh man.
Nothing's broken, thankfully. But I'm just like, why are you putting this in a bag? What the fuck?
I wonder if, because I got mine on the second round of like pre-orders. I don't. Maybe
Yeah,
that has something to do with it. Maybe others
you would think that
got the same
they
treatment
would
as you did.
treat the first rounders way better than the ones that came
Oh
along
yeah,
late to the party.
and you're right. I would feel like the people who were fortunate enough, because I got fucked over on it
Yeah,
on the first round of pre-orders. But but I have him. I'm thankful I got him. That I have to pay no fucking $50 for some dipshit on eBay.
yeah, this is true.
So he looks great. But I did not use any of the extra stuff. I wanted the shield, gave him the pistol, and he's holding that shield prominently on his right arm, right next to his other 87 compatriot and Croc Master. So
Nice.
and it's so cool to see that my three of my favorite characters of all time from the most hated wave of 87 have all made it to the classified line in the time that this line has been running. Like I figured people like that would be much further down the line. They'd be
Or
pushing
not at
more
all.
for, or yeah, or not at all. Because people are like, "Oh, 87 West, when things get sci-fi, it's so fucking lame." It's like, well, fuck you. I look at Crystal Ball as like, God, he looks so badass.
Mhm.
Like, what is wrong with having a hypnotist working for Cobra?
Yeah,
A guy that can manipulate your mind and things like that. Like, I the logic why people shit on that line or that wave, I've never understood, even though it's been talked about ad nauseum
yeah,
at times on the podcast. But I'm like, they just come off as just like they just hate it because, well, I don't like it. Well, why don't you like it? What's wrong? Why wouldn't Cobra have a crocodile wrangler running crocodiles all over the swamps of Cobra Island to prevent people from getting in? If they're out in the field, Dr. Mindbender fucks with people's minds in the lab. Having Crystal Ball on hand to fuck with people's minds in the battlefield or up close and personal. Why wouldn't you use that? And you have someone to train the Cobra Vipers and Big Boa. Like, why is that a bad thing?
yeah.
Why does that look stupid? Like, I question the logic of a lot of and it's mainly, I think it's from Joe fans who started from the very, very beginning
Right.
and they see this progression. I just see nothing but like, this is awesome. Now, granted, for us, as the line gets deeper into the 90s, it starts to suck because everything is like neon colors and those shitty like little missile launchers that came with every fucking figure,
Yeah.
and they just get really crazy with the colors and it's just like dude, this looks fucking terrible. Like
Yeah, I think it's once you get past the Ninja Force stuff.
the first wave of Ninja Force, because after that, I'm like,
Yeah, I
I
think after that's kind of when I started to fall
yeah,
off. Yeah,
I just they started going, and I didn't. The one thing I didn't like about Ninja Force is the battle like matic, like the gimmick of like the swiping and slashing. I don't need my GI Joes to have that. I
yeah,
imagine that I pose them to do that.
right.
It just got in the way of like trying to pose them a certain way when you're having your battles. And I didn't like Eco Warriors. I
Yeah,
liked the drug enforcement way, which I thought was pretty cool. But and then Star Brigade, I was like, I really don't give a shit about this. Like, not that it was horrible, but I'm like, I didn't. I was given the only thing every time I got, yeah, I did, because of course back then everything was either about save the planet and don't do drugs. Like we get
yeah,
it, I'm
yeah,
aware,
yeah.
you know, but
Thanks, Nancy Reagan. We get it.
yeah, it's just like, man, fuck off. But I thought Headman looked cool because he looked like a Dick Tracy gangster. So I was cool with that in his headhunters. And I thought like having a unit, in like urban environments, taking down, why Cobra would deal in drugs. Like, not to say it would deal in drugs, because I think in the cartoon, the Deke series, Cobra and GI Joe team up to take out Headman because they're both against drugs. They
Yeah,
did that in the Cop animated series as well. Winners don't. Yeah, there you go.
yeah. You see,
It
it
was
was
all
pretty
over the place. Every arcade
like
game.
every arcade game had that
Yeah,
stuff.
but I that's a faction or a sub faction of GI Joe I was cool with, had no problem with that, and they kind of even linked the character of Bulletproof that's in the drug enforcement group as being the same Bulletproof from the Cop series.
Yeah.
There's kind of this hint. It's not. It may be kind of forced, but I thought it was relevant. I mean, you have people like Shockwave, who's like an urban environment specialist, with his riot shield, and that's what comes with the classic slum. But he's more of a urban environment. Like, if he's going to take down, Cobra troops held up in a warehouse in New York or something like that. For like Shockwaves, they hang out. Go, why not have a group that would be taking down drugs and stuff like that? I thought it was cool.
Uh,
Eco Wars, they sucked.
did you get the Snake Eyes yet?
He's in my basket, and part of me is kind of bouncing because I'm like, I got a pre-order for Big Bad. I'm guaranteed to get it no matter what. I'm like,
I went
so,
ahead and got it on Amazon.
fuck, now I probably feel like I need to too.
Yeah, so I got it in today. I actually
Yeah, I don't
left
know
both.
why I hesitated, because that is next to the version 2 Snake Eyes. That version is my
Yeah,
next favorite version of Snake Eyes.
same. Yeah,
I love it, and that's another version people shit on. Like, yeah, it came with like neon orange weapons, and they suck. But the design of the character, like, if you see him depicted in those 90s GI Joe comics in that look, the artist for those books made him look. I'm like, all right, you assholes who shit on everything that came out after '85. Like, you tell me this depiction of Snake Eyes looks. All right, let me just find an example real quick. Is where we're just talking about this real quick. Is
sorry.
I just feel like I have to show this example of how he
I'll,
looked in those comics,
I'll have
because
Messenger open,
yeah,
ready for your image. But yeah, I left them both in the car. I need to go get those out after the show and bring them in and unbox them and put them on the shelf. I'm actually kind of behind on my classifieds. Really, like I still need to get Rock and Roll.
I need to get him and Dr. Mike. Of course, when I was going to get those, I had a bunch of bills come in, and I just like
Yeah.
I could not buy any action figures, so I
Do
had to.
you do you see yourself kind of reaching the end point of collecting the line now, or do you still think there's a good plethora of figures that you would like to have?
I still
'Cause-
want to get the Renegades because we're getting Mercer in a 2-pack with Slaughter, so I'm
yeah,
definitely, I want to get all three of them.
I
I feel
personally
like
feel like I'm kind of getting towards the end of it. For
I could see that, because they, for a line that, it's been going a decent while, and they put out a lot of characters, but I feel like there's a lot of Dreadnoks I still haven't gotten yet.
really
Like, we haven't gotten Thrasher, we haven't gotten Zanzibar. Um,
true,
we've got Road Pig, we got the core group of Dreadnoks with Xander and Serrano, Torch, Buzzer, and Ripper.
yeah,
And Naga hides out. Um,
yeah,
I mean, and I like where they're going with they're coming with like the Ghost Viper, which is it's a repackaged range Viper with more kind of camo colors,
yeah.
and he comes with like a gun like Blaine has in Predator, like a big
Oh,
minigun.
nice.
I'm like, that
Yeah,
would it's fucking rocks, man. Like, to their
I
credit, I am encouraging Hasbro because they clearly care about GI Joe. So if they're coming up with like original concepts or maybe characters from the kind of modern comic, which I've never read, um, I like what they've put out. There's characters I've never heard of, and some of them I thought were brand new to the line. Maybe they're not, but I think about like some of the other like '90s characters, because I feel like for every character that maybe looked upon as like, oh, that character sucks, like they've not done a shitty interpretation of any character.
Yeah,
Like
no,
they every one of them has been A+. I mean, all the way.
I mean, I would argue, even though we were excited for it, I think the beginning of the line was, but
Oh no,
they've
that
since gone
fucking
back and
sucked. Yeah,
they've gone back and
yeah,
fixed all of that stuff.
they
But
have, and I'm glad they changed. I mean, I was rolling with it, but I was like, it's
yeah,
not great. Like Snake Eyes look perfect, but Roadblock, Duke, and Scar, like,
yeah,
what the fuck are you guys doing with this
yeah.
stuff? And then they switch it up and realize, like, yeah, asshole, like, don't fuck with what's already, you know. And they got the right idea where they're adding accessories. You know what, didn't come with the original character, but you know what, it makes sense for that character to have that.
Yeah.
And all these other things. So they're doing an exceptional job. Why can't Mattel do that with He-Man?
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm with you, but I'm also kind of at the point, aside from a few characters, I see myself kind of dwindling down on. I haven't been going in with the army builders like you have. Like, holy
Well, and,
shit.
and I'm ambitious. I just haven't been able to do as much as I think. Like, I did get 4 Iron Grenadiers. I got 5 Night Creepers. Only got 3 Range Vipers because that costs an arm and a leg to get those now.
Yeah.
Um, and that's my favorite army builder is the Range Viper. But they're coming up the Ghost Viper. I wanted to get more bats. I've got 3 Crimson Guards. I have ambition for this stuff, but I'm like, I'm out of room. Those 4 Iron Grenadiers I have, they're not on my shelf. They're sitting on the floor because there's no room for them.
I already told you what to do. You need to take your DVDs, move them into your kitchen because you're barely in
Yeah.
there anyway.
Just to eat real quick, and that's it.
Yeah, you can sit there and eat, look at all the movies that you got, and just take
Yeah.
those space, remove those shelves, and put in some 5-shelf bookshelves. Dude, I've put together so many of them from Target, and I bought so I can put those things together in like 10 minutes, easy.
And I just need you to do it for me because that's what's keeping me from doing it. Like I don't want to deal with this.
Johnny Cox saying Japanese so Fubi and Mondo are taking most of my toy money. I did see people getting in hand the Vinkman Real Ghostbusters from Mondo, and I'm like, man, that shit looks good, but I can't justify the price for it. I just can't.
Yeah, and I saw them too. I thought they looked good too, but again, that's just not. I'm not interested in devoting my money to high end collectibles like that unless it's a statue, and even that's just Nathan's got Daredevil.
Oh,
At the time, like
that Daredevil statue so nice. I got it right here.
I know, and I wish I had gotten it, but I'm like during the time that was available, like I can't afford any major purchases right now. I can't do it. I had to cut out everything until I got everything caught up.
Yeah, I'm like, put it on the credit card. I'll pay it off. It'll be fine.
I don't see, and I got that, but I don't want to get into a habit of that. I just don't.
No, I'm totally with you.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm trying to find like a nice screenshot of Snake Eyes from the books to send you. I don't want to just send just the cover. There's some really cool interior shots. I'm like, fuck, I can't find anything right now. Here we are. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll talk real quick too about my experience at AEW Collision last Saturday.
Oh yeah.
Fucking, I loved it. I loved every second of it. The TV when it was live, that went by super fast. They taped a couple of Ring of Honor matches before they went live, and then they taped like 3 afterwards. I'm like, well, you got to stay for the whole thing. And there was this wrestler in Ring of Honor named Beef, and that was it. And he was pretty over. So, like, pretty much any time he would like hit a punch, the crowd would be like, beef, beef, beef. And like I got into it. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna like yell for guys. I'm gonna boo at guys. Like I just really I want to make it a great experience.
Into the spirit of it.
Yeah. And then of course when we came home, I'm like, I got to see how it translated to TV because I'm like, it was loud in there, and I'm like, well, how's the sound on TV? And pretty strong. I loved so before the main event when Hangman Adam Page came out, who is from the area. So it's like
Yeah.
it was a homecoming for him. While they were in commercial break, Tony Schiavone got up and he got on the mic and he was like, "All right, I need everyone on their feet. We need to like be as the loudest that we can. It's going to look for great TV." And shitty enough, like when they came out before they did it and they're like, "Oh, hey, it's Nigel McGuinness," and he got a good pop, and Schiavone got a really good pop too. But I was really hoping that the crowd would start like a Tony, Tony, or like a "Thank you, Tony" chant or something.
Yeah.
Because like dude deserves his flowers for as much shit.
Yeah. One of the
as much shit as he
of all time.
Yeah, he got so much shit in WCW, but it's easy to look at it now and realize like when he really stopped caring. And so it's just nice to see he has the passion for it again. But just a really fun time. And of course, in that building, no matter where you're sitting, you can see from anywhere. So my seats were awesome. And it didn't cost an arm and a leg. So that was awesome. The girls that sat beside of me, despite their size, and I'm not trying to be mean about this, but I mean, if anytime you've gone into an arena, those seats
are small.
Seats are small, and she was on the bigger side. So of course, when she sits beside me being a smaller guy, I'm kind of like shifted over. But she brought signs, and she knew the product, and she was into it. She was cheering. I had no problems with that. No one was a dick. No one was an asshole while we were there. There was this one guy down on the floor who had this hillbillies for hangman sign. And the security guy on the corner, because he kept coming up, so his seats were further back on the floor, and he would walk up to like the barricade and hold the sign up. And one of the security guys like got up and came over. He was like yelling at him and pointing to like get back to the seat. I was like, that's awesome. But it was a lovely time. Tony Khan came out before Collision started and talked about it. It's like, yeah, this area hasn't had live TV in like over 10 years now. And then he came out after the show and he's like, you guys were amazing. And allegedly, and apparently it's true, it was the highest attended Collision show in the United States this year.
Fuck.
That wasn't like one of those back-to-back tapings with Dynamite, because they would do that depending on certain scenarios. Like I think when WWE runs a pay-per-view or a Saturday night main event, because Collision's normally live on Saturdays, they either go live on Thursdays or they tape it with Dynamite that night and then air it on Thursdays. So we were the highest attended Collision that wasn't like a back-to-back taping, being its own thing. And I was like, that's awesome. And he made a point. He made a promise. We'll see if he sticks to it, that he's going to come back for TV in the future. So hell yeah.
Oh, hopefully within a year he comes back.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so too, because it's been dry in that spot for so long for wrestling. I mean, even beyond house shows. Like I think the last time WWE ran a house show there was like four years ago.
In the last couple of years, I thought. A couple of years ago, I thought. Like
but they don't do house shows anymore, really. So.
Oh, I guess that's what I'm thinking was the last time. Yeah, I guess it would have been about 4 or 5 years ago then.
Yeah. Well, 5 years ago was like peak pandemic. So it was probably like 2022, 2023, maybe.
Yeah. I feel like within recent years, I heard.
But that's just a house show. Like,
yeah,
they used to bring SmackDown around quite often. Don't do that.
A couple of those. No.
Here is some Snake Eyes.
Look at that. How the fuck can people look at that and say that ain't Snake Eyes? That's gay. You know, it's just like, dude, what? I mean, the guy, and his name escapes me, but the way Snake Eyes is drawn, the way he's colored here with the shadows and the textures on him, how do you look at this rendition of Snake Eyes and think that this doesn't look badass? This is just one image. Like I mean, just one I could find immediately. There's other images in like this brief run where he's depicted wearing this costume before he moves to the Ninja Force outfit.
How awesome would it be? I mean, just taking this depiction here, if like Daredevil's fighting the Hand, and then all of a sudden Snake Eyes drops down to like team up. You should get Kevin Sharp to draw Daredevil and Snake Eyes. That would be
that'd be awesome, because I feel like that, because the red ninjas that use in G.I. Joe look, I mean, they look just like the Hand. I mean,
I used one of them to put with the Hand ninjas. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, and it just these red engines, they don't disintegrate when you kill them,
yeah,
like the hand do, but it's very easy, and it technically, GI Joe shares the same universe as Marvel because J. Jonah Jameson shows up in one GI Joe comic
there
bitching
you go.
about why aren't you selling the Daily Bugle here?
There you go.
And it's like, see, yeah, Snake Eyes and Daredevil could hang out and take out, ninjas together, and Daredevil could hang out with Ninja Force with Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes and Jinx, kicking all kinds of ass on rooftops.
Johnny adding here, my favorite GI Joes were the Street Fighter ones.
Oh man,
I
fuck
love
yeah,
those.
me too.
Yeah.
I That blew my damn. I had no idea those even exist until I walk into Hills and see Street Fighter GI Joes. You talk about a brain popping out of your head moment. And I got Blanca. That was the first. I was like, I have to have Blanca. Knew nothing in the mythology or anything like that. I thought M Bison was a good guy because he was
Oh
the second.
man,
He was the second one I got, so I bought him
come on, man.
thinking that he was just all right. This is Bison until I see the commercial that Bison was a bad guy, and then learning not too long after that too that Bison was a bad guy in the video game. So
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but I thought it was great. I think it's another thing that I think original GI Joe fans they take shits on is that Street Fighter is part of GI Joe. Um, I like to think that Rambo would have worked well with GI Joe.
Well, I
Chuck
mean,
Norris tie-in of like the
yeah,
Braddock character that he played Missy in action could have worked with GI Joe, and of course John Matrix and Commando.
absolutely.
I'd have been thrilled to death because I love Sergeant Slaughter as a member of GI Joe. I'm sure people would have thought this is stupid, but when they were going to do a Rocky tie-in and have him be the adversary to Big Boa, Rambo made more sense. But I would have accepted Rocky.
Yeah.
But I just like no. I think having some of the celebrity tie-ins, especially with military-based characters like Rambo, James Braddock, and John Matrix, making them part of the GI Joe team.
I mean, who needs that when you got the fridge?
Well, I like the fridge too. Fridge was cool too.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
I mean, making him like a drill instructor helps train Joe's, and like in the commercial, like where he's swinging his football like mace and hitting Big Boa in the face with it, taking on Techno Vipers. Like I didn't no idea who he was as a kid, but when I saw pictures of him, like as a male, I'm like, oh my god, like I don't know who that is, but he looks awesome, and I gotta have him. And I still think the fridge was a cool tie-in. Now, granted, if
the
they would have put in like fucking Tom Brady's a GI Joe, like that's fucking dumb.
I imagine if they're gonna put the fridge in the class or the classified line, it would probably be like a con exclusive or something.
Probably
More than
much like they
likely.
made Python. I'm like, dude, like they must have some force and sold out in lightning time. Like I
Yeah.
think that tells you that it's much people may shit on the idea of the Cobra Lot mythology. The characters still look badass. Why are you making Pythona like a? It's like a some sort of like traveling con exclusive bullshit.
I'm kind of hoping that it'll go the way that Dr. Mindbender did. That they will eventually release just a standalone retro carded
Well,
figure, like
we need a standalone
Chuckles.
Chuckles. Like,
Yeah,
yes, damn
yeah,
it.
yeah. Chuckles is
Like
one I
I
need to
keep
get.
looking on eBay, like maybe someone's not charging fucking $80 for a Chuckles. Like every time I see the packaging, it's like Chuckles with that awesome artwork. Like no, $75, $20 shipping and handling. Fuck you.
Yeah.
It's
Um.
just like damn it, man. Like why is Chuckles still falling by the wayside in terms of getting a main release?
Yeah.
Like everyone else in the '87 one that's come out has gotten a main release except Chuckles. Why?
Hopefully it'll happen. Tyler, I'll let you read this next comment from Speaking Moistly. Go ahead.
I just want a Voltar. I want everybody represented from Iron Grenadiers. Voltar, the Targat, the Annihilator. Um, I'm trying to think if I'm missing anyone else. And we got Metalhead, which he starts out as an Iron Grenadier. So yeah, I want a Voltar to go along with, and of course we have to have a gold and black Destro with the cape and the sword. Gonna have to have that at some point, which I'll definitely get my hands on that version of Destro as well. So, yeah,
Surprised they haven't done
I
that already.
I'm surprised they haven't done it either. They'll probably make him another one of those like expensive ass exclusive where you get to buy him and his the spoiler like his flying chariot that he has that came with that action figure back in '88. Like I would buy Dodger from the Battle Force 2000. Don't really care about the rest of them, but Dodger was always really cool. Or like Muskrat because he's a swamp guy. I think that'd be really cool. Or hardball, like the baseball player with the grenade launcher.
Yeah.
And apparently Big Lob, from the GI Joe movie, he'll be getting his own action figure in the near future too, which I thought be really cool. So I again, going down the roster of GI Joe, like I still think they have a lot of great characters. Like we're getting Budo and the Samurai Warrior from the '88 wave. Like fuck yeah, man! I can't wait to get my hands on him. Another underrated character. People are like, he's a samurai. He's not a GI. I was like, I don't give a fuck. He looks amazing.
I'll raise you this. Snake Eyes is not a ninja. He is commando.
He is a ninja commando. He's both. He's both. Now, yeah, he is a commander because that's what he started out as. But you find that he has the skills of a ninja. So, again, that's another thing. I'm like, why is everyone GI Joe fans like they're just like taking nice Dairy Queen soft serve shits on ninjas? Like, it's not like there's like a fuck ton of ninjas. Yeah, there's a decent amount, but they don't outnumber your standard GI Joes with specialties. They don't.
Yeah.
So
We
before you
got
start
we,
lining up,
we got to go. We
like,
got to go through an episode of GI Joe at some point down the road.
you know what? Why don't we make that like our time corridor?
Well, I mean that's the thing, man. There's so many things that I feel like there might be a couple things that would even leapfrog GI Joe at this point. Maybe
there's a bunch
depending.
because I want to talk some Turtles. I want to talk some GI Joe.
Yeah.
I feel like
We've just been having a really good time.
Yeah, it's
talking
been
about Master
refreshing
Universe.
just having this stretch of just like great constant He-Man and She-Ra topics, and we've been, Nathan asked me like, what do you want to do? Like, you want to do something different? Like, what? I'm still kind of Jones and talking about He-Man, but
Yeah.
we have been going a long stretch of just flat He-Man and She-Ra, and it's been great, uninterrupted. At some point though, we will break off and do, some GI Joe, Thundercats, Turtles, or a
Mhm.
movie discussion of some kind, or maybe Batman or Spider-Man. We haven't done any comic book related stuff in a long time either.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of great shit, that we got a lot of passion for. But it's just been nice paving this new path of Master Universe content and just, I mean, like hitting home runs, in terms of like, I mean, we're very proud of the stuff that we've done.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not setting the world on fire. We're not claiming we're doing that, but we're very proud of the content that we've done.
We walk away from it being like, feeling
Yeah, we
really
did
good
great.
about
We did
what we
better
did.
than I'd say any other YouTube channel that's out there outside of James E Talk, who puts
Still
together
Great
He-Man shit.
TV. Link down below.
Yeah,
Subscribe.
yeah. We're not just doing. I'm sorry, but I know you can
Subscribe.
fart and hit a YouTube channel that's talking about He-Man, but it's just a quick Google search. They're just reading the back of the card art of the origin figure they got, and somehow they put together a bullshit video.
Well, I don't know if you are entirely an inspiration for this, but let's just pretend like you are. Johnny's saying, Tyler, I'm pleased to say I'm exercising regularly now because I can't look badass in a dad bod.
Well, I'm glad that you see me as that. And I don't care how old you are, man. I've seen men in their 70s do bodybuilding competitions. I don't none of this bullshit. I'm in my 40s, I'm in my 50s. Like, shut the fuck up. You start exercising, you eat right, and do exercises right. Yes, you can be badass at any age. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't subscribe to that. It's always going to be genetics or holding you down or your age. Like bullshit, man. I don't buy into that.
Just
count I'm glad to hear that, Johnny.
Count your calories. Count calories, and then whether it's working out. I mean, even walking burns calories. You know?
Just eating better. You lose weight. Just eating better. Stop eating all the bullshit and the junk food. Eating healthy is not as bad as it used to be, and it's not as expensive as you think it is either. If you just stop and think about it.
It depends. It depends. It depends on the route you want to go. Like, yeah. We won't get into that aspect of it.
But Johnny, thanks for sharing that, man, and I hope you stick with it and just stay motivated and inspired each day. Like, okay, today's my new goal for this. I'm going to work on this. I'm going to change that up. And
that's the biggest thing, just sticking with it. That's what a lot of
it's
people
a lifestyle.
can't.
It's not whenever you feel like it. This shit's like you either stick to it or, or you don't. You don't. Yeah.
I'm trying to get Tyler to fucking get into these. The Jada Toy Street Fighter figures kick ass. Yes, they do.
No, they do. I just don't have room for them. I bought Ryu and I bought Fei Long. And I want Vega. I want Sagat. I want Blanca. I want a DJ. Man. I
Yeah.
just don't have the room for them. My Fei Long and Ryu are sitting right next to the Iron Grenadiers right now because I'm out of room. I have no more room. So I'm gonna
I'm
have to
sending
either.
this to you so I can save it and show it on the screen. But I have bought them all so far.
Yes.
Well, not variants. I haven't gotten into like the player two
Yeah.
other
Which
Steam
I've seen
variants.
some of those, and some of those
Yeah,
look really cool
yeah.
too.
Bison looks kick ass in
But
that.
I thought Bison looked awesome. Yeah.
Come on, Tyler. Look at
Dude,
that.
I want those. And like I said, I love Ryu and Fei Long. I want DJ really bad. Dawson looks amazing. Like I came close to really getting Dawson and Bison because I was so impressed with, and I love Vega. So, and of course, if Balrog comes out, I'm like, there's no way I'm passing up a Balrog.
Yeah,
So, because
I got
Balrog's one
some
of my top three.
flight stands on Etsy, so Dawson's probably going to get a flight stand so I can have him kind of
Awesome, as
hovering up
as
there.
well as he should.
Yeah, because
That's
he's just been
I
sitting on the
think,
shelf.
and it's impressive that Nathan's accumulated that because I think once you get past like people like T Hawk, once you get past Super Street Fighter, I'm just kind of like,
Oh yeah,
I I'm a,
I'm done after that point.
yeah,
Like
I
once
don't care.
once I get Balrog, T Hawk, and E Honda, all those
Yeah,
guys. That the games that I grew up with.
yeah.
Once we're past that, if they want to go that far, then I'm
And
done.
you know what? I'm sure they will. They'd be stupid not
Yeah,
to.
they would be. Yeah, they need to like because much like Storm Collectibles is doing, if they dabble into the Alpha series, a lot of people eat that up because
Yeah, oh,
that's a lot of
absolutely.
people's
Like,
favorite games
it'd
too.
be stupid to not dig into that, but it begins with Street Fighter 2 and ends with Super Street Fighter 2 in terms of like the roster of characters. Like that is my bread and butter when it comes to Street Fighter. Much like Mortal Kombat, it's pretty much 1 through 3, maybe a couple guys from part 4, and that's about it. So
Well, you enjoyed on PS3 it's called just Mortal Kombat, but I look
yeah,
at it like Mortal Kombat 9, I
yeah.
guess.
But
That one's
they
good.
and I enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun playing it, and
Shao
it
Kahn's a
focused on.
son of a bitch in that.
Oh, he is. He was an asshole, but you know what? He wouldn't be Shao Kahn if he wasn't an
Yeah,
asshole.
that's true. He's got to
You
be
know,
cheap, right?
yeah, whether it's in 2 or 3 or anything after that. But the roster of characters goes from 1 to Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. You have like Rain, Ermac, Jade, and Noob Saibot, Smoke, which Smoke was in, um, as a secret character, I think in part 2, and then part 3 was it was an unlockable character. But that's where it begins and ends with me. I like Quan Chi from part 4.
Uh-huh.
Shinnok's okay. I don't doesn't really do it. I mean, to me, your main villains are Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn and Quan Chi. Like that's your trifecta of like ultimate evil in that mythology. I don't look at no Dragon King or any of these other things. I just nah. Goro, Kentaro, Motaro are your big badasses.
Yeah. Have you gone over to that arcade one up in your house and played anymore, or have you kind of given up on trying to beat anybody in that?
I swear, when I even tried Mortal Kombat 1, and I would get up to the first endurance level. I'm like, son of a bitch! How the fuck did I do this on Super Nintendo? Of course, I was.
There's a
I don't
difference.
know.
I feel like there's a difference between Super Nintendo and
Yeah,
arcade.
because I not did never got very far in Mortal Kombat in any of them except in Mortal Kombat 3. I did get all the way to Shao Kahn, um, but I used the smallest uh, tower. I didn't
Yeah.
go. Because I'm like just getting past Motaro was bad enough as it is. But I came close to being Shao Kahn a couple times in the arcade on the smallest uh, tournament.
Right.
Um, but I got really good with using Sub Zero's moves in Mortal Kombat 3 with the ice shower and things like that. That's when I was like getting really good at, and I actually got to play it often, because my dad would take us to the arcade on school nights a lot back then. But trying to do,
Lucky.
well, when he lived in Roanoke, we were right across from Tanglewood Mall,
Yeah.
so we got to go to the arcade quite often during that
Yeah.
time.
Play some
But
Sunset Riders.
oh god, I'm so glad you like that game.
Why? I mean, why wouldn't I? It's a Konami
Just
like
again, it was
beat
a
'em
game.
up
I'm like, no
essentially.
one else knows about this game, and I was like, yeah, I was like, yeah, I want you to play, I want you to try it, and you enjoyed it,
Yeah.
My money.
I'll have to make that a stinger at the end of one of the episodes.
Yeah,
Make sure it plays that music too.
yeah.
Do you have any interest? Speaking of Mortal Kombat, since Storm Collectibles doesn't have the license, do you have
Mhm.
any interest in the McFarlane figures of Mortal Kombat and
I heard,
collecting
I saw
those?
they were doing it. I don't know. I guess I was just kind of like, now they're starting all over again. You know,
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess I'd have to look at it more closely because it was like they're doing Scorpion, Sub Zero, and Liu Kang. Is that
I
correct? The
think
first wave.
that sounds about right.
Yeah. I actually just found out like fairly recent that he was doing it.
Mhm.
I hadn't been too impressed with the stuff he's done with DC.
Yeah, the
You know,
scale of those are just weird.
yeah, I don't know. I thought Storm Collectible, like their Mortal Kombat stuff was amazing. The Street
Yeah,
Fighter stuff like was off center. I feel like Ryder was like a brick wall. I'm like, God, he ain't that fucking big.
yeah.
But the Mortal Kombat figures, I thought they were perfect. Yeah, well, except Sub Zero from Mortal Kombat 3. I didn't like that one at all, and it's one of my favorite versions of the character. But he
Mhm.
looked like shit, if I'm being honest. But I don't know. I'd have to look at it more, and it
Nah,
would be something I would have to cherry pick.
Scorpion, Sub Zero, Liu Kang, Raiden, Katana, and Melina are the first wave,
That's the first wave. Oh, I didn't see
I
Katana and
guess.
Melina and Raiden. I wonder which Raiden, if it's part two Raiden or if it's
I would
the
just
original Raiden with like the white outfit.
you'd have to look them up, or Johnny will provide all the information in
Yeah.
the chat
Well,
while we're still
that's
going.
cool to know that it's not just three figures. It's a full, you know, obviously you can do Katana and Melina very easily and
Yeah,
Sub-Zero and Scorpion very easily. So
yeah.
that makes sense for the first wave.
Not a question for Tyler at all. So I'll go ahead and answer this. Oliver Belmont, any thoughts on the new trailer for Peacemaker season 2? I enjoyed that first season for what it was, but I mean I'll watch the second season just to see because it was enjoyable enough. But the trailer didn't really do a whole lot for me, if I'm being honest. But I'll watch it. I've actually started watching. Well, we started watching The Righteous Gemstones, and that on HBO, and that's been pretty fun because they just wrapped that show up its final season a few months ago. So I'm like, yeah, let's just watch this. And, John Goodman's in it. He's basically like the patriarch of this religious family, and they got like that super big mega church, and he's got his kids, and they're all kind of like fuck ups, and they got their own little
Mm.
things, and like there's all these things that go wrong along the way, and it builds up and builds up and builds. So it's pretty funny. I've enjoyed it. Let's see. Next power rating, are you gonna have Ram Man? Do you want to put Ram Man in the next one?
I have no problem putting him in the next one.
All right.
When fans request stuff, I like to honor that,
Yeah.
because we don't get too many fan requests for stuff. So
Well, Ram
if
Man will be in
yeah,
power rating episode number 2.
yep.
Question. Let's see. Question. Well, let's go with this comment first. Speaking mostly Mortal Kombat, Kung Lao is my guy, but he's been done dirty the last few games. I haven't
Yeah.
played a Mortal Kombat since Mortal Kombat 10, so I've totally missed out on 11 and then 1 when they decided to go back. I'm like,
Oh,
what are we doing here?
yeah. When I heard about what they were doing, especially with the storm, like, man, fuck this. Like, everything about it. Like it again. Uh, well, up to Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Fuck everything else after that. I mean, because
Yeah.
that's why I feel like everyone was depicted. And Kung Lao was a badass in part 2 and 3.
Granted, in those,
Absolutely.
it's like Deadly Alliance.
I like Deadly Alliance and Deception. I had a lot of fun, especially Deception. I had a blast playing that game.
I
That was
liked
a
it.
lot of
I
fun.
like those some of those mini games, like that puzzle fighter esque
Yeah, and
clone
chess.
that they. Yeah,
Chess.
yeah,
I can't play chess to save my life, but it was fun to play that version of it because I'm just
yeah.
when you
Because when you
Nightmorph
meet up,
against
then
Cobra,
yeah, then you gotta
and then all the
fight it
stage
out.
fatalities that didn't require like a full code that you have like a fatality in the middle of the match.
Yeah,
That it was I thought it was a brilliant game. And it brought back a lot of like brought back Baraka,
yeah,
which was the personal favorite of mine from childhood. So
yeah. I like Baraka a
Deception
lot.
was the last great Mortal Kombat game. I really have a great time playing that game.
And Tyler is super excited for that new movie with Carl Urban
Oh
as
yeah. Oh my
Johnny
god.
Cage.
Oh.
John, let's see.
I watched the trailer for that just because I just want to
I
see how
did
bad
too.
it looks like. Yeah, this is
I
gonna
did
be
too.
such an utter big piece of shit.
Yeah, maybe like 20 years ago, I would have been like, oh hell yeah, but now not so much.
No,
Um,
because I'm sorry, if the first Mortal Kombat they treated it seriously. Why does everyone feel like we can't make anything regarding a property without being silly, taking the piss out of it? Like,
yeah, an
I, I,
annihilation. Jesus, what a utter piece of
Like,
shit that is.
is what a shit show that was. They were trying to be serious, you know.
It sucks though that
I saw it in theater twice because I just didn't want to believe it was as bad the first time I saw it. And it was like this. Maybe if I see it again, I'll think better. Like, no, no.
yeah.
But I love the
So
soundtrack. Soundtrack was great.
in addition to Ram Man on the next one, we'll add
Well, Frost is
Frosted,
my favorite of the Schubert girls. So you know what? We'll take Frost and Ramen and make sure that they are in the power rankings for round two.
and it'll be up to us, probably mainly Tyler, to come up with the other 7 characters involved. We will leave
Yeah,
this with one final question coming from Johnny. Thanks again for all of the questions and stuff.
absolutely.
Any characters you fell in love with from Marvel or DC because you discovered them on a trading card but never
Yep.
really knew that much about them? Mine was
Yeah.
Silver Sable.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, that was my introduction to comic books and Marvel. Was Marvel Universe Series 3 was getting a pack of trading cards. I got Ghost Rider in that pack. I got the Origin of Spider-Man. I got Venom. Um, I'm trying to remember who else, but I never heard of Ghost Rider until I got that trading card.
Really?
I knew I'd heard of Venom, but didn't really know anything about him until I got that trading card. And that's why I'm here today, was because of that pack of trading cards. It spawned my love to like seek out, starting to notice that there were Marvel superheroes by Toy Biz on the action figure aisles. The X-Men animated series was up and coming within that same year.
Yeah.
X-Men trading cards were out at that time too. At least I think the series 2 is the one I got into with the following year. But anyway, trading cards were a big reason why I love Marvel Comics. I remember getting the DC Superpowers trading cards line abundantly in Myrtle Beach, and damn near everybody in that entire roster of cards, I knew nothing of them. They Batman was not featured, I guess, because his likeness and his name was sold for the movie cards.
Yeah.
So everyone in this was like Flash, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and Superman. Then you had people like Black Manta, Copperhead, Granny Goodness, and Aquaman's brother. Shit, forgot what his name was at the moment. But a lot of
Aquaman's brother.
Metamorpho.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just all these characters that to me, I'm like, who the hell are these characters? Like, I only recognize Superman, Flash, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern. And then I'm looking at all these other characters too, like Bronze Tiger. Like again, just characters that I'm like I knew nothing of them and would be decades. Probably not until like the animated series of like you know probably like Superman and Justice League, like all the Granny Goodness. I remember that trading card,
Yeah.
and Dark Side and things like that. They just but trading cards. It's a shame that trading cards aren't the market that they are today or back then, or that they aren't as relevant today as they were back then, because that was such a popular thing back in the 80s, and go back as far back as the 70s too. I think maybe even the 60s. I think it's when the Mars Attacks trading cards came out, if I remember correctly. But if not, but even so, like superheroes were big business with trading cards. You could go to a card shop and a particular character card of like Wolverine or Juggernaut would be $5.
Yeah.
And that was a premium price for an individual card at a card shop back in the day.
I have a couple of examples, one from Marvel, one from DC. It's funny that Tyler kind of mentioned that. So with Marvel, mine would probably be like
Ah,
Deathlock,
yeah.
because I think this is like the peak time my dad and I were going and collecting comics. And of course, with Deathlock here being a rookie in 1990, like his
Yeah.
number 1 is out there. So got to get that. And then since you brought up DC, started thinking about it. Green Arrow, probably for me, and Martian Manhunter. I would see on these cards, and I'd be like, "Oh, okay." But Green Arrow was one that's really stuck out to me, and I'm like, I have no idea who this is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's I remember seeing Martian Manhunter too in those trading in the DC superhero trading cards, and like I don't know who this guy is. I kept hoping like when's Batman going to show up? Like how come I don't have Batman? He's DC,
yeah,
and not really understanding that the Batman name was with Pops, since they were doing the movie cards and all that. So that's the only reason I can think of, is that Batman was not featured. Now Nightwing, I think, was featured in
hmm,
the DC superhero trading cards, but I don't believe Robin was, and none of the Batman villains, like no Joker, no Riddler, no Penguin, No Two-Face or Mr. Freeze, but Lex Luthor was there, of course, and Gorilla Grodd was another one. That was the first time I ever saw Gorilla Grodd. Was the trading cards from that wave,
I was
or from
looking.
that series of trading cards.
Yeah.
Talking too much. Clear my
I
throat.
dislike that you can't just buy trading cards at grocery or convenience
Yeah,
stores anymore. Now trading cards feel like a rich man and scalpers game. They are.
they are.
I mean, much like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean everything is now. I mean, like if you want to collect sport cards today,
Yeah.
it ain't like it's nowhere. I mean, I stopped collecting basketball cards in I think 2003, just because buying a pack of cards was like $6-8 a piece, and you get
Yeah.
maybe 5 to 10 cards, and that's it. And like
Yeah.
that's a big gamble to spend every single
I think if
week.
you,
Or
I honestly, I think the way to go anymore these days is just go into an antique shop and find someone that's got a box of something from like
yeah,
91, 92 and buying the box and just ripping them and just be like, I don't remember this guy at all. But Ronnie Cycli, I remember him. So,
yeah,
yeah.
I do remember. And this was probably within the last maybe 12 years. The Reiner Food Center, I think it's a small gas station out in Reiner. We stopped in there one time, and they not only they had comic books on a spinner rack, but they had unopened packs of Topps basketball cards from 97, 98
Oh, man.
available in like near the counter. Like, oh my god, I'm going old school here. I'm gonna buy me some packs of cards, and they
Yeah.
give me a comic off the spinner rack. Like they were so behind the times in that store. And like I said, this was been like around like 2012, 2011, somewhere. And granted, we're
Wow.
talking, a decade removed, but still, like I thought, oh my god, like these basketball cards are ancient, and they still have comics on a spinner rack.
Yeah.
Like they weren't current comics; they were old comics, like in like little baggies,
Nothing wrong
like
with that.
value pack comics. Like I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's still comic books on a spinner rack and trading cards in a store.
I want to feel like I'm 5 years old again.
Yes, and it was because trading cards you could go into, you know, Kmart's back in the and buy Batman the movie trading
Yeah.
cards. You could go to a convenience store in Myrtle Beach and buy Ninja Turtle trading cards, Rocketeer trading cards, Robin and Prince of Thieves trading cards, RoboCop 2 trading cards, Gremlins 2 trading cards, and DC superheroes trading cards in the same fucking store because
Yeah.
it was popular, and you'd have comic shops specializing in just superhero cards, and then they'd have basketball cards, hockey cards, football, basketball.
Yeah.
And it's just of course now, you can go and buy a complete collection for like 10, 15, 20, 25 bucks, including the stickers now for all these sets you may have sought after as a kid.
Depending on what it is.
Well, like Marvel Masterpieces, you want a complete set of that, like the first wave,
Yeah.
it ain't cheap. Same
Yeah.
thing, Marvel Universe Series 1, like a complete set of that.
Yeah.
I think I paid $80 for a complete set of that
Huh.
without the holograms.
Yeah. But that's not bad, I don't guess.
It's
but,
not bad, but considering at one point,
yeah.
you could get them for like, $40, $50 a complete set.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I think people are nostalgic, at least people who grew up during that time. And all of them, like the X-Men trading cards, the one that Jim Lee did and the one that Andy Kubert did, they're within reason that you can buy those.
Yeah.
But Marvel Universe 1, 2, and 3, I paid some decent money for a complete set of those to put on display out here in the hallway. But
You're gonna have to take that shit down and put up a shelf so you can put some figures up.
there's no room for shelves right in this little hallway cubicle.
You can get floating shelves.
That is the Hall of Fame of trading cards. That spot right there is why I'm in the comic books to begin with.
Yeah.
It will stay that way as long as I'm living in this man cave of mine.
I was gonna say, I guess you're just gonna have to upgrade and get you a bigger place.
Or I guess I could just tell my landlord, hey, can I rent the place downstairs too for the same price I'm renting this? Just one bit.
Is anyone living down there now?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I guess I'll just have to kick them out and let you.
I guess so. Just like how you tell Emily, you're gonna have to sleep on the couch. I gotta take it. I only got room for a small cot for myself. The rest of this room is gonna be devoted to my toys, my comics.
Oh yeah, she would love
that. You
that.
tell her to sleep out in the stables with the horses.
No. I'll get you in hot water real quick. But let's go ahead and we will wrap up this episode. I hope everyone enjoyed this first edition of our power ratings, and we will be back soon enough with another round of that. Don't know entirely just yet what we're going to have on tap for you on the next episode, but we'll probably get that figured out after we get off air here, but I hope everyone enjoyed the power ratings. As we stated earlier, give us your ratings. What would you give the strengths, intelligence, athleticism, and specialties for those 9 characters that we rated tonight? If you haven't done so already, like this episode, subscribe, and until later, let the power return.
I'm going home. Clear a path, you motherfucker.
Falling down. He had to give me an easy one because old E-Talk gave us some feedback on a couple of other episodes that he hadn't gotten around to watching yet. And he's like, I can't believe Nathan didn't get he fumbled on the Rocky 3. And I was like, dude, I'm terrible with the quotes. Unless it's something that Tyler and I...
Another one, too. I was going to say, Tough Rocks, pal.
That's got to be Turtles.
Yeah. Just like, yeah, it better be Turtles.
Which we're going to go see together on Sunday, the 35th anniversary. I mistake.
People, check your local theaters because it's nationwide for a full week. They're playing the first live-action Ninja Turtles movie in theaters for 1 week only, starting today till next Thursday.
Yeah, originally it was just Sunday and Wednesday, like they normally do with the Fathom events. But as Tyler said, all week long. So
it's at AMC theaters, Regal theaters, whatever chain you got nearby. Just check around, go to Fathom Entertainment, see if it's playing anywhere within your vicinity.
Yeah, go check it out. Go watch Turtles. I'm
Can't wait
excited
to hear Turtle Power on the big screen blasting. Oh my God. Watching them fight the Shredder on the rooftop and watch the big fight in April's apartment. It's going to be fucking awesome.
I will say this. I'm
probably going to cry when Splinter comes to him in a spirit form. I'm probably going to have to grab a hold of Nathan's shirt and wipe my face off.
I'll make sure, dude, that I'll be in the aisle like this with my phone.
Oh yeah.
It'll be like Meg all over again. Yeah. I was actually going to say real quick, I'm going to try my best just because I've seen the movie so many times. I will be a little lenient if people want to be excited and into it and everything. Because
if they're quoting the movie back, that's one thing. But if you're sitting around like, hey, Jimmy, you want to watch me jerk off? You know, like
what kind of theater is this?
Yeah. There's people just sitting there fucking around on their phone, like, God, I'm so bored. I'm watching this like old movie from like the 80s or something. You know.
Yeah. But I'm going to be lenient if people are really into it. I'm not going to be like, stop making, shut up. No, I'm going to. If they're into it and everything, I'll be lenient. But I can't wait to watch you cry. I mean, I'll probably tear up a little bit too.
I do it every time.
I think the last time
sequence, I get teary eyed.
I think the last time I watched it, because it was those first 3 movies were free on. I think even the TMNT from 2007, they were free on YouTube to watch with ads, or if you had premium, and didn't have ads, they were free for a while. And now I don't think they are. But also, if you're unaware, Arrow Video is putting out the Blu-ray and 4K of the trilogy. Yeah. We both have that pre-ordered already. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So get that pre-ordered. Go get you some tickets. Go watch 1990 Turtles in theaters.
Best rendition Turtles ever made.
Oh man, I don't think it'll ever be topped.
Nope, it will not. It's up there with Batman as one of the greatest superhero movies of all time. Top 2.
Johnny saying Splinter chained up talking to Danny hits a soft spot for me.
Oh my God,
that too.
Like that is what, especially the first time he talks to Danny, he says all fathers care for their sons, and he's like, he lowers his head, you can see like the tears kind of like hanging in his underneath his eye, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, it's and then when the Casey comes in and he's like, who are you? Like, I'm Casey Jones, I'm a friend. And just hearing like the struggle of Splinter because he's so depleted.
And I don't give a shit how many times people want to post that screen grab of when Donatello's mouth's open and you see the eyes. That shit is magnificent. For that to all be practical.
Fuck you for trying to poke fun at it.
Yeah.
It's Ernie Reyes in that suit, or when he's doing at least the battle sequence or so. You know, I don't give a fuck. You know, it's Jim Henson's company.
I love
it. They'll never do better. You know, so fuck Michael Bay and everyone else who made Turtles, and fuck Seth Rogen and his shitty rendition of Turtles too.
That one wasn't. That was better than Bay Turtles. I'll say that much.
Fuck. I could shit something better than that.
I stole this shirt from Frank.
Yeah, well, whatever. It's all my fault. I made a mistake. Gee, what? Are you some damn moron?